For the chatter that said he already uploaded a video, I didn't mean like upload a video to public. I meant like upload a video that my editor sent me to the YouTube platform so I can, you know, edit it. Hello, everybody, bloody good. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Friday chat? Sorry, I am live early today. I have a meeting after stream, and I didn't want to miss stream, so I wanted to be able to go live for at least 3.5 hours. So we're live early today, and it is a React day. We got a W lineup. If you weren't able to watch stream and you're watching the VOD right now, sorry you missed stream, but welcome to the VOD. Anyways, outside of that, tomorrow we're doing more High on Life. We're going to be doing High on Life 2 for the entire stream tomorrow. I'll probably be live around 1:30 or 2, and we're going to play it for like 5, 6, you know, maybe 6.5 hours or so. I don't really know. We're going to get more into High on Life. Sunday is going to be a React day at like 1 or 2. Monday, we're doing the S&P and games/yapping with Adapt. Tuesday, I'm not live. Wednesday is the AHA charity stream. It's going to be a big event. Me, Sneak, Killdozer, and Chris Koshard are going to be doing like a gamer challenge where your donations affect the game and it makes it harder for us to beat it, blah, blah, blah. Thursday, I'm not live. Friday next week is either finishing High on Life 2 or starting the new Resident Evil Requiem. Saturday, either way, next week is going to be a React/S&P day. Next Sunday is going to be Reacts, and then Resident Evil guaranteed March 2nd, whether we're continuing it or starting it, one or the other. I don't know. Anyways, how are y'all doing today? I'm sorry if some of you are still at work/school or wherever the fuck you're at. Anyways. Lath for the sub, GG and S, thank you for the sub, S Raptor and Peril, thank you for the 4, says W early stream, Q, thank you for the sub, Muffin and Always for the sub, TP and PG for the sub, Potato Von Parallel, thank you for the sub, 8K and Sally and thank you for the sub. Yeah, I love going live early, but I know that a lot of people can't make it, so I don't try to go live early unless I have to, unless it's a weekend or the summer, because then it doesn't really matter. Pineapple and Low for the sub, Clutch and Arc for the sub, Tony and Pleb, thank you for the sub, 2, T, thank you for the sub, Lane, thank you for the 3, first time donating, welcome to the stream, God and Will, thank you for the sub. Watching your new video at the same time now. That's awesome. Zerk, thank you for the sub. All right. All right. Chat, run down to the videos that we have today. Starting out, this one you've probably seen clips all over TikTok of. Disturbing fraternity hazing exposed by cops. I don't know what frat this is or where this is, but it's basically them like walking in while the pledges are getting hazed. And, you know, what unfolds after that. Wash, thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Voice crack. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Wash, thank them if you got a sub. Thank you for the 10 gifted. Will and T, thank you for the sub. Zerk. God, Gay, Adrian, and Chris for the sub. Lane, thank you for the 3. After that, we have Why Aren't Actors Ugly Anymore? Been trying to watch this video and we never get to it. Chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age. Inside South Africa's taxi mafia. And this is what happens when you die. Lineup. Shorter lineup. I don't know if we're going to be able to get to all of them. I assume we will, because that's why I only picked 5 videos instead of like 7. But I'm hoping we could get through all of them. W lineup. No real pre-stream yap. Barry for the sub, GG and Finn, thank you for the sub, TTV and Letty for the sub, Isaac 1,000, but he's going to play Arc Raiders. Not today, but in general, yes. Ek and X, thank you for the sub. Or X, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Barry Zone and F, thank you for the sub. And God, thank you for the sub as well. All right. Master for the sub, Chucky for the 3. Your European viewers love your early streams. Yeah, I do have a higher influx of European viewers in the summer, actually. Because in the summer, I tend to go live in the summer and on weekends. Because people from Europe, it's averagely like 6 to 8 hours ahead of me in Eastern Standard. So Right now, if you're in Europe, what time is it for you? Like 8? So this is like prime when they would want to watch. But normally I'm going live at like 4:30 on a weekday. So I'm starting stream at 10:30 for them. Which some people that stay up late is awesome. But if I'm streaming like 6 hours, you know, they're not making it till like a 4 a.m. stream for them. Yeah, like 9:30, 7, 8, 8:17, 8:15. Wow, is there actually a lot of European viewers? Is my whole chat Europe right now? Let's do a poll. Hold up. What continent are you in? North America. South America. Europe. I'm not putting Antarctica because you guys are going to put that. I know you guys are going to put that. Asia, Africa. Okay. What continent? Somebody said New York. That's okay, buddy. But what are you? Oh, yeah, I have way more European viewers than normal right now. Well, welcome. Welcome to the stream. I always feel bad. I said this before. I don't know if I said it on stream, but I was talking to Small Fries about it. I can't remember if it was live or not. I think it was. I feel bad for UK streamers and European streamers in general, because the majority I feel bad for English-speaking European streamers, because English-speaking European streamers have to stream on an American time schedule almost always. Australia, it's different because it's so off that it's like almost back to normal when they could stream to like appeal to. What about Australia? Wait, what time is it in Australia? Right now it's 6 a.m. That's not bad. Being an Australian streamer appealing to a UK or an American audience is awesome, because that means you could go live at like 10 a.m. your time and you're prime time streaming for your audience. Like, you work a 9 to 5 as an Australian streamer, because you could go live at like 11 and it's nighttime for your US audience. So that's sick. Europe, it sucks. Like, when we did that Rocket League tournament, it was like 3 a.m. for Ginge, and he's just on. Like, Small Fries has to stream at like, I think he goes live at like 10 p.m. or something, and he stays live till like 4. Like, you're just working the night shift. Hyper-fixating on the UK? Well, it's just because there's a lot of popular UK streamers. It's the same thing with, like, I don't even know if Oni Pixel lives in Germany anymore, but Oni Pixel has, like, a very large, English-based audience as a German streamer. So, I mean, it really varies. It depends. The reason I say English-speaking is because the majority of English-speaking streamers have a majority U.S. audience. Most of the time. Not always, but I don't know. I would just hate to have to go live at like 12 as like prime time. Unless you're literally Queso, in which case he chooses to go live at midnight. Like, I finished the day I played Poppy Playtime, which was not yesterday, 2 days ago. I finished stream and I'm like, oh, I kind of want to, tap into like what Queso's doing. And he went live at like 11 for me. Bro was playing Poppy Playtime till like 4 in the morning. Like, that it is, I just couldn't do that. Because it's like the whole day you're like, I got to stream in 8 hours. I got to stream at midnight. I'm assuming, I always wonder if he has like that night schedule. Like, bro, like so many streamers have XQC schedule. Like, I know a lot of people were like flaming him for being late, but like, dude, the amount of people that go live at like midnight and stream at 4, or they go live at like 8 and stream at like 4 in the morning, go to bed at like 9 a.m. and then wake up at like 6 p.m. and then fucking go live. Like, that's terrible. Dylan, thank you for the 5 gifted. Cartridge and Egg for the sub. Kiwi and Stove for the sub. Gaming and TCV for the sub. Scuff, thank you for the 3. You should grow your hair out back into the Roman curls. You mean Greek curls? I have to grow a beard for a sponsor / charity combo starting on Sunday for like a month. So I might grow my hair out. I might just not shave in that month. Not the beard. All right. See, you can't, chat, if you already start out by saying not the beard, then that makes me feel like shit when 3 weeks in it's a patchy beard and you're already making fun of it day one. But yeah. TV for the sub. Chunkles, a Barry for the sub. Steven, thank you for the 10 gifted. Reed for the 1,000 buddies. Denby for the sub. Puff and Vitals for the sub. X, thank you for the 3. Just graduated Navy boot camp yesterday, going to join the fleet, and I thought it would be nice to give some of my favorite stream about something about money I got from it. Well, thank you for the 5, and thank you for your service as well, and congrats on graduating boot camp. That's awesome. Hope you have a wonderful stream. Thank you. Lawson X, thank you for the sub. R6 and Yoda for the sub. Honor 7, Denby, Master Killer, thank you for the sub. Official, that Canadian Josh and Laser for the sub. Madison Official and Sam, thank you for the sub as well. All right, lock in, chat. Hold up. I think I'm getting sick. Dude, I gotta go get my lymph node x-rayed. Or not x-rayed, MRI'd? I don't know. My left lymph node's feeling like shit for like 2 weeks. Shade, thank you for the 5 subs. Fat and Drin for the sub. Lunar for the sub. Demon, thank you for the 3. Or Demon for the 3. Hard for the 3. You've been here through the hardest parts of my life. Always getting kicked out. Finding a place to live. You always been there for me. Well, I'm glad I'm able to help, man, but I hope you're all right. I'm sorry you're going through that. Count for the sub. All right. Yo. Lock in. I'm sorry. I'm tossing it in sub-only mode. Not many mods in stream right now. It's early. Let's lock it in, though. All right. Disturbing fraternity hazing exposed by cops.
Does anyone want to be forthcoming on what's going on? Anyone?
Why is Bro hitting a T-pose back there? I feel like this is very uncanny. This feels like an AI backrooms video. Like they're all just like standing in a wet basement shirtless.
Anyone want to be forthcoming on what's going on?
It's pitch black with a speaker.
Anyone?
Can somebody explain this video? Fraternities, I'm assuming in the whole world, but this is a U.S. fraternity at least. I only know about U.S. frats. U.S. frats are for men, sororities are for women. Frats haze their pledges. Pledges are people that have dedicated their choice to the frat, but they're no longer a member. They're not a member of the frat yet, right? So if you pledge to a frat, you're like Teak. You're basically saying, I am choosing to be a part of this frat. I want to join. And then you're going through like a hazing process because you're rushing this frat. And it's basically where the people that are, you know, older in the frat that are, you know, initiated members and have been past the initiation or the hazing are now doing that on you. Sometimes it's very simple things like, you know, making fun of you. Bullying, effectively. Sometimes it's like bullying you. Sometimes it's making you drink a lot. Sometimes it's making you do drugs. Sometimes it's making you strip naked and walk in a circle while you hold the guy's dick in front of you and walk in a circle. There have been people that have died from hazing. And so the U.S. has a much more strict rule set for frats. Frats have gotten kicked off campuses for doing crazy things where they've, you know, killed people within their frat. There was a recent case, I think it was in Pennsylvania, where they made a guy drink like a 5th of vodka or something. And he was unconscious on the couch for like hours. Nobody helped him. And then he died. So yeah, it can get pretty bad. Most frats are not taking it to that extent. Like that, I don't want you to think that the average fraternity is doing that to its pledges. But this is one where they're probably right now. It's just I don't know what they're doing. They look wet and shirtless. I don't know what was next. I don't know what they were doing. Were you in a frat? I was never in a frat. I had gone to frat parties. But I never joined one. Did you ever want to join one? Hell no.
You gotta see.
Because of this. Because it's like you pay to be in a frat, and they bully you before you're their friends.
From my perspective, what the did I just walk in?
There is valid things. Like, frats do a lot of charitable stuff as well. Like, there's a lot of good fraternities. Like, I'm not knocking on the entirety of a frat as a whole, right? Like, fraternities can do a lot of good. They can breed a lot of connections for people within college for when they're out of college. They do provide some sort of benefit, right? But they also have a lot of downsides.
Police and firefighters responded to the Alpha Delta Phi fraternity house after a fire alarm went off.
Fire alarm went off. They didn't call and say that it wasn't an emergency. Oh, so this is just like a coincidence that they're going to stumble in here?
Pretty good, how are you? Good.
Yo, they are all thinking, do not go in the basement. Do not go in the basement. Guaranteed right now. This guy with the backwards hat is like, how do we keep them out of opening the basement door?
Hey, guys.
Why does every frat look like this? Yo, actually, why every frat house feels like a house that was built in the 60s and has like clearly repainted walls, but like so much repainting that it feels like it's just like dripping off. There's like a level of moisture. It always feels wet.
Hey, guys. What's going on here?
Is a frat house where all of them live? No. Not every member of a frat lives in a frat house, but a lot of them do.
What's going on?
While downstairs checking the fire alarm, officers stumble upon a fraternity hazing situation.
Dude, imagine being a firefighter in full gear, thinking that a house is on fire and you stumble downstairs to like 30 half-naked men in a basement. I would be befuddled.
Sam's house.
Yeah, I'll definitely need 133 here.
This is the alarm here.
All right, who's in charge?
They have a fraternity president. They're just, I feel like it's him. Like, there's no way. For him to go, it's got to be him.
Looks like we have quite a bit of hazing.
What level is hazing illegal as a whole? I don't actually know what. I'm going to Google that. Is hazing illegal? Hazing's illegal in 44 states. Wow. But I know frats still have, but it's like, what constitutes as hazing? That's what's like very confusing to me. Somebody said, can you say no to hazing? Yes, you could say no to hazing. Yeah, no shit, you could say no to hazing, but it's like a level of peer pressure, and then you're also just not going to be in the frat if you don't get hazed. They'll just kick you out. So it's like a social pressure.
So I'm asking
Is there a hierarchy? Yeah, you have a frat president. You have a leader.
again, who's in charge?
We can talk upstairs.
No, we're going to talk right here. Who's in charge?
A couple of us are. I mean, I don't know. I don't. Yeah.
I don't see a point in why he wouldn't just tell them, because frat presidents are it's public info. Like, even if they were like, I don't know who's in charge here. Like, at some point they'd be like, this is the president of this frat.
I'll have to tell you.
Okay, well, we need to find someone who's in charge,
All right.
because this is ridiculous. Hey, this stops here, guys.
Oh my God, they're blindfolded
This is a police department.
and they're covered in like mud. What the fuck?
This stops here. Who's in charge?
They're upstairs.
I just, the problem with that I've always had is like, if you were hazed, say, because when you get hazed, they can be like really fucking mean to you. Why would I want to then be that guy's friend? You know? Because once you're past the hazing and the initiation, now you're a part of the frat. So, like, now you're boys. And so I'm supposed to be like, dude, you didn't make me, like, do all that for, like, what the fuck? But it's like a constant, it's like, it's an initiation, but it's they did it to me, so now I have to do it to them. You know what I mean? Not a tradition, because when you say tradition, it makes it sound good. What would that be called? Like, is there a word for that? Where it's like, they bullied me. Yeah, it's like a cycle, not a tradition. Because a tradition makes it seem like there's, like, culture a part of it. It's not even a rite of passage. it's rite of passage is even, I feel like that's making it seem better. Because it's like, they're bullying me, they're hazing me, so now I have to do it to the people that are behind me.
How about we stop?
And the fucking weirdest thing is you could get hazed by a frat member that's younger than you. The majority of people that are hazed are like freshmen or sophomores that are joining a frat and they're getting hazed by juniors or seniors. But you could be a junior rushing a frat late and get hazed by a kid that's 2 years younger than you. I feel like I would be like, dude, what are you talking? Like, imagine you're 21 and there's a 19-year-old that's trying to haze you. I'd be like, brother, like, you're telling me what to do.
We start
You can't even drink legally.
cleaning this up. Everyone
I mean, they do, but
can take their blindfolds off.
dude, I just had a flashback memory. Sorry, I'm going to pause this a bunch. I went to a frat party in Philly one time when I was a sophomore. And I wasn't 21. And it was like two frats. There was two frat parties. We went to both. And the second one, it was packed in this outside area, and it was so loud. And the cops showed up. And I was in the back. I'm not advocating for this, by the way. I was in the backyard with a few of my friends and a few people that we had met. And a cop walks out onto the porch, which is like, it's like this balcony that's above everything. And he goes, and he starts screaming some shit. I just hopped the fence. I darted. Everybody just, I saw like 4 people hop the fence, and then it was like a wave, dude. Everybody just ran. I just got out of there. I just fucking ran out of that shit. And then we walked back. I ordered Taco Bell. And then I passed out.
Shit. I've already given multiple.
That was bad too. There was a few frat parties I'd gone to. The last frat party I went to was my junior year. I didn't go to any my senior year. I went to a frat party my junior year, and this guy recognized me, and he was on like 3 different drugs at once. And he was like handing me these open drinks, and I just took them. And in hindsight, I was like, wow, that was like so stupid. Because he could have put anything in there. Anybody could have put anything in there. It was like an open beer that they would be like, dude, Joe Bart, here's a beer. And I'd be like, oh, thanks, man. Fucking just drink that shit. They could have just drugged me. Never got drugged at a frat party, though. But then I did get drugged at Barstool in Philly. So.
Commands to clear the room and get out of here.
Fuck that place. Never go there.
But no one's moving. Apparently they're taking this pretty serious.
Yeah, I guess.
You in charge?
You said.
Still haven't found out who's in charge?
Might want to ask our house dad.
Where's he
Oh
at?
my God. Is that it? Dude, he can't even fucking speak.
Might want to ask our house dad.
Where's he at?
Summit.
Working at Summit.
House dad?
Summit. That's cool.
So,
So,
you have
obviously-
someone else coming here? Is there
yeah,
anything I can do?
lieutenant's coming.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Definitely figure out why you wouldn't let me pass you initially.
What's crazy is this cop's probably only like 3 years younger than this dude.
Questionable.
Yeah.
I get it.
I would probably be calling your house dad or whoever to get him here,
I
since ultimately
wish I could.
he's probably in charge, right? Unless someone else is in charge.
A lot of
I
budget.
don't have his number, so
Yeah.
Which Russian?
You don't have your frat leader's number?
Yeah. Do you guys know how the fire alarm guy set off? Or just from it's manual. Goes off.
So it's this one in the hallway here. How I got set off, I'm not sure.
Yeah, like the cops can't just walk out. There's 40 naked guys in the basement. They're just supposed to be like, all right, well, there's no fire.
I don't think it was down here. It's upstairs.
I can tell you it was this one. It was
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they were supposed to stay. Wait. You guys had to do this too.
Sounds like you was smoking cigarettes. Sounds like you was just screaming. Like it's just losing your voice.
Yeah. I don't know what this is. I mean, it's not like you guys didn't know there was 15, 20 people down in your basement. Come on. It's not that dumb. It's fine.
And I'm getting a little frustrated.
Dude, it's like this weird, awkward silence because nobody knows what to do next.
That no one's telling me who's in charge of
I
what's
can-
going on.
I mean, can we get the fucking half-naked guys that are covered in mud and piss with blindfolds on to walk out? Like, they're just standing there while everybody talks. I'd be like, hey, can we, like, go upstairs or outside? Like, why are we just, like, sitting here having a chat? Somebody was even flex. They won't listen? If a cop tells... I don't care if you're Russian... Dude, the frat can't be mad at you if a cop tells you to leave. That's the line, man. I understand it's like you gotta listen to like your frat leader, but I'm like, dude, if a cop's telling me to fuck off, like, you leave.
I can help you out, but I'm not in charge.
Literally,
I'd like to help you, but I'm not in charge.
yeah. I mean, we asked you to call your house dad, and you said,
I don't have
He's
order.
working.
Like I
I mean,
How do you not? He's your house
no
dad. How do you
fucking
not have his
fire
number?
I don't live here.
Okay, and what are you doing here?
he's a living. He lives upstairs.
Oh, so you do live here.
He
No,
lives
I don't
yeah.
live here.
He lives here. No, I don't live here.
He's your buddy here saying different.
So my name's Lieutenant Carlson, University of Police Department. Who's in charge of the house?
Oh, this is an Iowa frat.
Our house dad's at Summit.
Okay, we need him now.
You think this is Iowa State?
He's at Summit.
Okay, can we get in contact with him?
Call
Here's the
Summit.
deal. From what I'm being told, this is like shutting down chapter type stuff.
That's
I
fine.
need to start talking now.
Yeah. It's 1 o'clock.
Yeah, that's fine. I need to talk to people.
Call Summit.
Oh my god, it's 1 in the morning, dude.
Can I call Summit?
Yep.
I'm not calling Summit.
I have no contact with Summit. You hear
You're
my
not being
voice.
very helpful.
No, they're
Nobody
not.
in here has any way to contact.
Sorry, out of curiosity, I want to know what day of the week it was. It's November 15th of 2024. It's a Friday. I was going to say, if this was on like a Tuesday.
The guy that's in charge of this house.
Why? I don't know. It'd just be more crazy if you were just like... I feel like being hazed at 1 a.m. on like a Tuesday would be a lot crazier than like, you know, the weekend.
This is all going in the apartment, so we're only making the situation that much worse.
The frat's cooked. I'm walking out if I'm one of the kids getting hazed right now. I'm going, why the hell am I doing this? This frat's not even going to be a thing in 6 months. I'll see you over at the next frat. I'm going to walk over and see if they'll let me join.
No contact.
Okay, we need to find somebody that does.
No one does. He's a house dad.
That you all
Anybody in my chat that's in a frat or was in a frat, I'm taking it out of sub only. Don't lie. Because I know I have viewers that are in frats. I have like, who's in, not Sketty. Oh my God. Why am I blanking on his username? Chat, who's the chatter that comes in here all the time and tells me how he gambles a lot and he's drunk and he's in a frat? He's here all the time. Libby. Libby is one of my Australian mods. Ten tacos. Yep, there we go. 10 tacos. Imagine this was 10 tacos. Imagine that's 10 tacos. Not me. Me. Okay, so 8%. 71 people are saying they've been in a frat. Did you guys have hazing like this? Like, I've heard crazy stories. The craziest story I ever heard was from one of my friend's dads. Because hazing is still bad in a lot of frats. But it was worse. Like on average, it was worse, you know, years ago. Like your parents' frats were crazy. I remember one of my teachers that was in a frat said he had to steal shit. He had to go steal signs from a bar. And so he would walk in, just stand on a step stool, take a fucking poster, and just run. Which is just committing, like, petty theft. And then there was another one where this is the craziest shit. Whether or not this is a fake story, I don't know. They would stand in a circle, and there would be an Oreo in the middle. And they would all have to, you know, choke the chicken. And whoever, you know, went last had to eat it. Soggy biscuit. That's a line. That's a hard line, right? Like, how good can the frat be that you're like, I'm willing to do this for... You know, it'd be crazy, too. Imagine you're the guy that's just like, you're in the circle, and everybody else is just, you know, ripping it, and you're just standing there just staring. You're just like, Joe, you have to, man. You're like, no. I'll be the last.
Aren't you all supposed to have contact with him?
I feel like that, yeah, you assert dominance, you'll be like, I'll be the last one.
I never see him.
What's his name?
Eric. Eric, you don't know
Take one for the team, they start crying. Dude, that'd be nuts.
his last name?
But that's just fucking crazy. I'm like, I understand there's a level, and we were just watching a video about how, like, people in a higher position of power than you telling you to do something, so many people just do it, especially if the people around them are doing it. But I'm like, this is hazing, but, like, I get the kids going, yeah, I'll stand shirtless, covered in mud in a basement with a blindfold on, right? Like, they're not hurting me, but it's still fucked, right? But the second they're like, all right, you guys got to walk in a circle and grab each other's dicks, I'm like, no. No.
A couple different code violations.
So what's going on in here?
Sororities would do crazy shit too. I heard about one called Coke or Blow. Or Blow or Blow. One was cocaine, the other one was something else.
You don't know? You're just blocking the door so we can't see you live here. How does nobody live here then? Just hanging out?
Frats notoriously are talked about in the hazing sense the most, but sororities also haze their members.
No.
You tell me.
No, you tell me.
I don't know.
You go to University of Iowa?
Yeah.
You do? What's your major?
Business.
Business? What's your name?
Why?
Just wondering what your name is.
Jose.
Jose? Jose, what's your last name?
Why?
Just wondering who I'm talking to.
I want to tell you that. I don't want to tell you that.
Okay. How old are you?
21.
What? He's actively drinking alcohol. Oh my god, he's drinking a Bush Peach.
All right.
Want to see my ID?
Yeah, you got an ID or anything to prove?
Oh my god, why is he vaping right now, brother? Just hand the ID.
I think it's fake.
Huh?
I think it's fake.
You think it's fake? You think it's fake or you know it's fake? There's two different things.
Is he trolling the cop right now? I think this guy's rage baiting a police officer.
Campus 142.
Yeah, I think it's fake. I would check it if I were you.
One by deal number at Iowa when you're ready.
It's definitely not Jose.
I go by Jose.
I need to talk to these people here. I need to step over here.
I'll step inside.
Okay.
Oh, did they clear all the guys? Oh, nope.
Is anyone in here that needs medical attention? Is anyone here that is against their will? Is there anyone here who is not participating in this? I.e. a leader?
Is there anyone with any sort of physical injury?
Oh my god, you're one of the leaders? Bro, that's a crazy tactic I didn't even think about. You're one of the leaders in the basement actively hazing the guys, and then you hear the cops, and you take your shirt off, cover yourself in water and mud, and put a blindfold on? Just stand there? Just act like you're a part of it. Holy shit.
I'm almost.
Huh?
It's almost like listening about with the guy standing here. What's all over you guys?
It's just water.
Just water? What's on that dude's tie?
I'm not sure if some are.
You?
I
Come here.
swear to God, if I hear piss or cum, I'm going to freak out.
Serena. What does it look like?
Nope, you're gonna stand right over there.
Why?
Because I'm telling you to.
It's my house.
It's your house. You're responsible for everything that
I'm
happened
in this
today.
fraternity, so.
So, okay. Check in right there. Get up again.
You know what's nuts is this is where they hold the parties too. Not a guarantee at this frat house, but most frat houses hold parties in basements that are like this dirty.
Get up against the wall. Come over here.
I never had the only frat parties I had fun at were the ones in the spring that were outside, because those were chill. Because there was space. They would sometimes have like a really gross pool that was ice cold and muddy. And there would be, no one would swim in it, but there would be like 5 people that would be peer pressured into jumping into the pool. That was kind of okay. But the winter parties where they would throw them in the basement, I would be more hyped for the pregame, postgame than the actual frat party.
You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna stand with your buddy over here.
Oh, they were like slapping him in the chest. Do you see that?
Milliken, take these two, ask them questions about what's going on their arms.
It's on their arms.
So, are you responsible for the house? No? Okay, who's the house dad?
I just told you he works at f***ing Summit. Go call him. Go there.
What was his name?
Eric, I told you.
Okay.
Why are you asking me?
Because it sounds like you're responsible for the house.
No.
Sounds like you have some idea of what's going on.
No.
You're not very forthcoming with everything.
How about you ask the f***ing house dad? Who are you, 30 years
Two
old?
we're trying to get a hold of.
Okay, go call him.
You're definitely.
Please.
Stay right there.
Stay here.
You guys got IDs on you?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at them. Step back. I don't know you, dude.
This is
Back up.
private property.
Can we is there no lights in the fucking house? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are we walking around? Why are we I just realized this. Why are we walking around with flashlights? Is the power out? What the fuck? Do they walk? Is the whole house just dark?
Yeah, I can stay here.
Yeah, but right now we're investigating something that's going on.
Investigating what? There's nothing going on.
Dude, they were definitely playing like Crazy Frog on that shit. Full blast, too.
Does anyone want to be forthcoming on what's going on? Anyone? Because you got to see it from my perspective. What the did I just walk into?
Celebration
Nobody? Celebration or what?
of life.
Okay, sweet.
Yo, that's making it sound so much more like a cult. Oh my God. A celebration of life? They were blindfolded wet in a dark basement. What are we doing? Celebration of life. Dude, what's nuts is they're I didn't even think about this. The guys that are getting hazed are probably like really drunk. There would be ones where it's not like a case race, but they would segment you into groups too, and you would have to fit. It depends on the frat. They do different shit because they just come up with whatever they want to fucking do. I'm just telling you stories about what I've heard, where it's like, because I have friends that have been in frats too. They would give you, I don't know if this counts as hazing because they could say maybe it's partying, but they would all give you like the pledges. You know, they'd split you in groups of 5. Give you a 24 rack of beer, 2 bottles of wine, and a 5th of whiskey, and go, you got to finish this by the end of the night. And so it was like, all right, you know. Oh, my God. He has, like, bite marks on his arms.
Okay, you two. The reason I pulled you guys aside. We're here for public
That's
safety.
100% hazing? No, I know it's hazing, but I'm saying it's like, obviously hazing's illegal in 44 states. I'm saying what they count as hazing is like a weird gray area.
At this point, what's on your arms?
Oh.
Where are you guys going now?
They kind of look like they're covered in oil.
$127. Can I get you back down here? What's on your neck?
I don't know. I can't see.
What is that? What is that? What is that dried stuff on his fucking neck?
That looks like blood, is it? Shining your light. Is it blood?
That's what I'm asking.
Want to taste it?
No.
Okay.
Do you see why we're here? Why we're asking questions?
I don't know. You got the wrong guy.
I mean, bro, we're not getting kudos points right now for nodding along with this.
I was gonna ask those guys questions, and then he told them all to start heading out.
What's up?
I was gonna ask those two guys questions, but then they all started falling out.
They left.
No, these,
Oh, is he telling him to leave?
I stopped them, but he was
Misunderstood. Did you pull these guys out?
no. I went to go talk to those guys, and then they started coming out.
Why did we come out? So I said that.
This is some Epstein shit? No, I don't want to. No, I would not compare it to that, dude. I don't know if you've looked at the Epstein files, man. They are. This is frat hazing. Epstein was like eating babies and sex trafficking people, man. This is not even close to the level of stuff they did.
So they should come out.
You said it?
And I'm not saying this isn't bad by saying that, right? Because, like, the Epstein shit is the worst of the worst that it is, right? Or it has ever been.
Well, you're in charge. I know you said you're not in charge.
You're not in charge.
Okay. You president?
Yes.
Step aside.
The officers finally speak to the fraternity president.
I'm going to tell you first and foremost, I'm a little frustrated, but we're going to get through it, okay? What's going on tonight?
It's their lead up to initiation.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the deal with what are we doing in the basement?
It's basically a ritual where they're blindfolded
Okay.
and get messed with.
Okay. So the entire time that we've been here, which has now been I think 15, 20 minutes, we have been demanding to speak to somebody in charge.
Why would you want to be in a frat? I mean, from the perspective of somebody that's in a frat and from talking to people that have been in frats and going to frat parties, I get there being some level of them being fucked with that they deem worth it. Like, one of my friends was a roach man, and every time there was a blunt, he had to eat it. So if they finished a blunt, they would hand it to him, and he had to chew it and eat it. And from his perspective, it's like, okay, I have to do that. That's gross. But then once he's past it, and he said he swallowed like 20 or 30, like not over a day, but like over the course of whenever he had to do it. And when you go to these frat parties, these guys, like, I don't want to say it's like power tripping, but like they have power, right? When you go to these frat parties, because when you're in college, the majority of people that go to these parties aren't 21, right? Because the reason I didn't go to frat parties my senior year is because I was 21. I could go to a bar. Why do I want to go to a dirty basement, right? I would rather just go to a bar or a club. I have to pay to go, yeah, but you have to pay to go to a frat too. So it's like these guys are basically getting money, and I mean, obviously the money's going to the frat, but they're like doormen, and they have, they're cooler because they're the frat parties. And then those frat leaders also have nights where it's parties with other sororities. So it's like, not only is there a power incentive for them to join, they also deem it as like a cool thing to do, right? Because there's parties they have where a bunch of people go. Oh, and there's nights where like frats do nights with sororities, and like a sorority has like a date night with like a frat and they party together, and then obviously those guys want to get laid or they want to do other shit. So it's like they're seeing it as like, well, long term, I'm getting some benefit out of it.
Where nobody knows you apparently in the house.
Okay.
Nobody knows who's in charge. Like, here's the deal. We have
I'm too European for this. Europeans are different in that Europeans get drunk in a field when they're like 12. Like, the shit I've heard from some of my chatters that live in like the UK, it's like they do crazy shit in Europe, but they do crazy shit in Europe and it's like thinned over a 10-year period. Whereas like in the US, a lot of guys do nothing until like right before college, like senior year. Then they start drinking and then they just go fucking crazy.
hazing event, right? We're going to do a report because we responded to a fire alarm, which we were trying to get people to evacuate because of the fire alarm. But from my understanding, you guys refused to evacuate from a fire alarm after an officer is ordering everybody to vacate the premise. And then on top of that, we find this hazing event. We want to speak to somebody. Nobody knows anything. Nobody knows anyone. Nobody knows what's going on. This is going in a report. The University of Iowa is going to see this.
Okay.
And with the stuff going around across the country, students dying from hazing
That was the guy I was talking about.
events, I'm not saying it's to that level.
It's not.
I'm not saying any, but the university has a very, very strict policy on hazing.
Wasn't this kid permanently disabled? I think this is the most recent one out of all of them they've showed.
If I can't talk to people
no, it wasn't.
And if people aren't going to cooperate with me, that's their right. They don't have to speak to me. However, that means only my observations are going to go into this report. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to look worse than if people can kind of explain to us what's going on, right? Because then I can at least put your guys' side of the story in it as well. So I guess I want to know what we got going on. Like, you're saying it's a ritual prior to initiation?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'm asking for some cooperation and some coordination with your people here.
I will say, you know, it's to his credit. He's acting a lot. I get why this guy's the president off of the surface level conversation he's having with the police. Like, he's being a lot more professional than the guy that was hitting his vape and going, I think this ID's fake.
So just tell your people, like, hey, if that's what people need to do, just politely tell us that, right? So I guess I'm looking for you to kind of be a leader here and help us out a little bit and start trying to keep everybody in line.
Yeah,
Okay?
I apologize.
Okay, let's go back inside.
I just want to, if we can get that guy out of there, I just want to coordinate some way to make sure that there's no injuries, there's nothing.
Where did
They're
which
downstairs.
president?
Yeah.
It's
I just texted him. I said, shit. I told him you gotta leave.
it's your guys' house.
Okay.
However, if the supervisor of the house, president, says he is not welcome here, then I'm going to escort him off proproperty.
I think
If he refuses that, then he's going to be arrested.
we'll
walk him out. Yep.
Okay. I would
Who? The guy with the Iowa shirt?
I would take care of that because
Yeah, I
the
would.
longer he
Chris, you wanna
stays
go?
here,
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting close to being arrested.
Oh, the guy that was hitting his vape.
The next day, police
that?
pay a visit to Joseph's apartment after he was very uncooperative the day before. After 10 minutes of talking, he again proved to be uncooperative and difficult to deal with.
So you interjecting yourself into that conversation, what good does that?
They don't need to talk to the cops. I don't even
Why are
speak to
you
right
deciding
now.
who they need to talk to, though?
I'm just saying, they're my buddies. They're my friends.
Right. The police are doing an investigation.
About what?
They're trying to figure out what's going on in that
What is?
room.
What was going on in the room? What have you heard?
So they're doing an investigation.
Yep.
You don't dictate.
I don't know, man. Like, why? Like, it's just making it worse to just because they already saw what. Like, just explain it, right? Just be like, hey, they had to stand in a room and he would cover them with like ketchup and mayo and shit. Because that might have been what it was. The one kid looked like he had mustard on his tie. They might just be dousing him with water and shit. And that might not, I don't know the legality on that, right? I don't think it was cum, McChunky. I think that would be, I think that'd be crazy.
Take the investigation, right?
Yeah,
That's for the police, that's for us to investigate,
Hierarchy,
right?
yeah, I get
right. You understand that.
Yeah.
So why are you dictating who the police can talk to and can't talk to?
I'm just telling my buddies not to talk to them, that's it.
Okay. So you're interfering with the police officers'
Not at all.
job.
Not at all.
But
He never said, oh, if you don't get away, you're getting arrested. He never said that once.
He did tell you to step away. He
I
told you to
stepped there
walk
for
away.
and then he said it again. I walked away.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
So he asked you
I
to
would,
walk
I would
away.
like to end this conversation right now, please.
Okay.
I would like to have a word here.
Okay.
And if there's anything actually happening, you can call me again. But it's been a pleasure. Thanks, fellas. So I didn't catch your name.
So this is Lieutenant Travis Tyrell.
Travis.
122, I'll take you. What'd you say your name was?
Joseph.
All right, Joseph. All right, so unfortunately for you, at this point, you're being placed under arrest. You can put your hands behind your back.
Joseph was arrested for interference with official acts in connection with the hazing incident. Those charges would be dropped a year later. The Alpha
Yeah, I didn't think they really had much to stand on there.
Delta Phi fraternity was suspended through 2029 for hazing.
See, I actually have a genuine question here. When this frat gets suspended for 4 years, when it can get redone, how does a frat, how do they start it again, right? Because generally speaking, if a frat gets banned, all their members have to disband the frat. So then when it's 2029 and the frat becomes a thing again, how do they get new members and a new president and all that? Like, I'm assuming it's just like, oh, starting a new frat. Like, it's like new members entirely have to be like, this is what we're going to do. And then it's like, you know, you get a new wave of people. I would assume. But like most frats have been going on for years, right? Where it's like a cycle of new and old people. Is it illegal to haze? In 44 out of 50 states, yeah. North, thank you for the 3. It's Yo-Yo, thank you for the raid. Ghost, thank you for the 3. Love the concept of ring. What webcam do you use? Sony A7 Triple I with a custom lens. Don't know the lens. O-Dream, Lauren, Yato, thank you for the sub. Stinky for the 2 subs. Fat for the sub. Muscular, thank you for the, or Mass, thank you for the 3. How's February vacation week? What does that mean? They thank you for the sub. Ice, thank you for the 3. How to pick one person to speak to aliens for humanity? Who would you pick? I'm going to go with Neil deGrasse Tyson. That's not a bad pick. I think like Alex O'Connor is a cool person as well. John Kiriakou. I don't know. Somebody that's like level-headed. Kiero and Chase, thank you for the sub. X, thank you for the 2,500 biddies. Adam Gilbert for the sub. Last Daily for the sub. Esther, thank you for the 3. Riz and Proxy for the sub. D and Nat, thank you for the 3. Love the way you express yourself. Thank you, Colin and Hero. Thank you for the sub. Willie and Avery for the sub. Kelly for the sub. Jay, thank you for the sub. Stin and DD, thank you for the sub. Malibu for the 3. But around for you're low-key the best. Also, you're looking a bit scruffy, not bald. Wow. Slimone, thank you. Energy, Monica, don't, and no, thank you for the sub. Mylian and Micro for the sub. T-Man, thank you for the 5. KDM, Lay, and Sako, thank you for the 5 gifted. Taco, thank you for the 1,200 biddies. My grandpa passed away yesterday. Rip at the chat. I'm sorry for your loss, man. Sorry for interrupting. You're not interrupting, man. Thank you for the fucking biddies, and I'm sorry for your loss, man, truly. Joe Spaz and Jose, thank you for the sub. X-Critic for the 1,000 biddies. Def Dota for the sub. Jester for the sub. Matt, thank you for the 5. Foil, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. A Bacon, Foil for the sub. Bella and Cheese for the sub. I'm in Lunar Counter X. I'm Demon, thank you for the 3. Dren for the sub. Hard, thank you for the 3. Shade, thank you for the 5 gifted. Zat and Leisure for the sub. Fat and Hay for the sub. Officials and Homeless, thank you for the 3. No Gaming and Kiro, thank you for the sub. Dylan for the 5 gifted. Chuckles for the sub. Now thank you for the 3. All right, I gotta piss real quick. Then we're gonna hop into the next video. See you for the sub. All right, count me down. Next video. Isaac for the 3. What are we playing? Ark? Don't know. Izzy, a lazy, thank you for the 10 gift. It's Ben and Isaac for the sub. Baby and Sia, thank you for the sub. Here's the schedule. Reacts today. Tomorrow we're doing High on Life 2 at like 1:30 or 2 p.m. EST. Sunday we're going to be doing Reacts at 1 or 2 p.m. EST. Monday is going to be the S&P random shit with Adapted Games with Adapt. Tuesday I'm not live. Wednesday we're going to be doing the AHA charity stream. We're going to be playing Peak, Lethal Company, and Are We There Yet? Me, Sneeg, Killdozer, and Chris trying to raise money for American Heart Association. You guys are going to be able to affect the game we play through the donations. I'll do my own base donation myself, blah, blah, blah. Thursday, I'm not live. Friday is going to be either finishing High on Life 2 or starting Resident Evil Requiem. Saturday next week is going to be Reacts and maybe the S&P or Random Games. Sunday is going to be Reacts, and next Monday, or not next Monday, next Monday, we're going to do Resident Evil Requiem, whether we continue it or start it. Brady, think of the 3. Send Theo Von to talk to the aliens. If you have any videos about watch games, play videos, touch up games, touch up, videos, watch games I play. Exclamation point schedule if you know the schedule. Lock in chats. Why aren't it actors ugly anymore? Somebody redeem Scream. Refund that shit. Why aren't actors... Okay, actually, don't refund it. Not thank you for the 3. Those messages are fake, and I'm incredibly sorry. Me and my brother share a computer. Only found out he did that because he used my card. On his behalf, I'm so sorry. I love the respect you as much. That was bad behavior. Modern for the sub. Yo, not a savage. Brother, I have no idea what you're talking about, man. Literally no idea what you're talking about. What messages? Those messages are completely fake, and I'm incredibly sorry. Me and my brother share a computer, and only found out he did that because he used my card. On his behalf, I'm deeply sorry. Oh. You're the chatter. I knew that shit, bro. I'm banning you, man. Sorry. I don't give a fuck. You or your brother, man, you're not welcome in my chat anymore. I knew that shit was fake. You're the chatter. I see, and I know people said I was rude. You literally faked, you faked being your mom and told me you killed yourself. That's fucking weird as shit. You're banned. Sorry, man. I'm not setting. It's got to be setting a precedent, man. Like, if you do that in my chat, I don't care if your brother did it. I don't care if anybody did it. If somebody types on your account and says that you killed yourself and you did that for attention, you're banned. You're banned. I wish you the best, man. You need to get mental health help. I don't know if that was your brother or you, but you can't really convince me that was your brother when you literally pretended to be your own mother coming to tell me that you killed yourself. And I literally spent 5 minutes talking about how sad that was. And you did that, bro. What a lame ass thing to do, bro. Oh my God. Thanks for the bits, man. I can't have you in my chat. Bro snitched on himself. Well, he did that because if he came back talking in my chat, I would have been like, oh, you're alive. He said, hello, Jar Bartolozzi. This is Lyndon, this account's user's mother. He recently took his life and wanted to let you know he truly loved you. And that for a while you healed his heart. Now that he's gone, it's hard to move on. Thanks for helping my boy. It's okay, we understand the situation, but it's true. After I was talking about how people fake being suicidal for attention in my chats because they know that I'm a suicide prevention advocate. And then they said he did want help, he didn't know how, and kept saying that it's not working. In my opinion, I feel like he was lost. Lame. Bye. If that was your brother sucks ass. I'm letting you know. Don't fake being suicidal. That's fucking weird. Fleet for the sub. V for the sub. Mayan, thank you for the 5 gifted. It's Casey Tack and Modern for the sub. Brother. And I know, I don't want to say like chat. I literally said this when I got this dono. I still treated it as if it was real. I will always treat a suicidal chatter as if they're serious. But, and this is a big but, if I had a guess, 40% of them are faking it. And it's for attention. People are chronically online. They lie about themselves. They lie about other people. For attention, for clout, for fame, I don't know what. And I hate doing this as like some conspiracy theory because I'm not some psychopath that's like, oh, everybody lies on social media. Fake news, fake news, fake news. No, but like the amount of actually fake news shit that people do is insane. Like, I'm sorry. It's sad, but it's true. Like the amount of people, like if 10 people come in my chat and they say they're suicidal, like seven of them are being honest and 3 of them are lying for attention. And it's like, man, like on side note, if that was you pretending to be, see, I don't want to, I know that wasn't your brother, bro. I know that wasn't your brother. Because you literally you have come into my chat multiple times asking for advice about being suicidal. A couple of years ago, my sister drowned, and it really impacted my family. See, now, like, I don't want to question that because I'm not going to sit here and say that you're lying, but it's like, now all your chats are starting to seem a little fucking weird, man. Like, what are we making stuff? I don't understand. I was in stream talking about my mental health family struggle over a family member passing, favorite person confide. Last stream, I can't take being alone. Not even 988 will help. So multiple days in a row, weeks apart, your brother was typing on your account, acting suicidal, or you're saying you were, and then your brother, for some reason, knowing you were suicidal, played a fucked up joke on you, or on me, on your account, pretending to be your mother, acting like you killed yourself. No, man. Whether your brother's needs help, whether you need help, man, you can't be in my chat anymore, brother. Not only is this like bordering like weird parasocial levels of fiending for attention, this is like insane. Like faking being suicidal. And maybe you are suicidal, man. I'm not saying you're faking being suicidal. Faking being your mother and saying you killed yourself to me is nuts. And then coming into my chat and saying it was fake. I'm not going to sit here. I don't want to say I'm not mad at you because I think I am mad at you. But I wish you the best, man. You clearly need help. Whether you're actually suicidal, you need help. You are not mentally okay if you're trying to tell people you're suicidal and pretending to be other people saying you killed yourself. That's crazy. Please get help. Go to a psychiatrist ASAP. Seriously. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm being honest, man. You need help. That is not beyond I talk about like suicide prevention and how I know people in my life that have killed themselves. I have a mod that's killed themselves. I have people in my community that have killed themselves. I have people in my community that have died of cancer, that have died of this, died of that. It's so sad, right? If you're ever going through something, genuinely get help. I don't want to take and that's why I hate talking about this because I feel like it takes away from the people that are actually suicidal, right? In the same sense of like people that like make shit up about other people and it draws away from like the people that are actually dealing with stuff or people that are actually, suicidal and then the people that are faking it draw away from the people that are actually suicidal. I'm still going to take every person that's suicidal seriously or saying that they're suicidal seriously, right? But it is annoying the amount of people that fake it. Get help if you need it. And even if you are not suicidal, man, this level of like chat, like what you're doing is like, there's something wrong, man. Please get help. TB, thank you for the 3. But watch this to 2023. What do you think the frat basement smelled like? I don't know. Probably like fucking mud. Oh, Dreams, thank you for the 3. Needs attention because he has to get any from those closer to him. I get it, but going to these extremes is not okay. I get that, man. And that's why I'm saying you might be dealing with something else. But that's not that's not a positive level of attention, right? Like, if you're going through something in your life and you're not suicidal, but you're like lonely and your means of getting attention is like faking killing yourself to a streamer is like nuts. Like that's not like, oh, you're not suicidal, so it's fine. No, like that's another thing that needs to be addressed, man. Nick, thank you for the 3. Instantly put himself into the same shit category as Low Cobra Vengeance and 2-inch. No, beyond that. Beyond that. Vengeance was a bad chatter. Low Cobra was a bad chatter. 2-inch, don't talk about it. But, like, I would rather deal with Lil Cobra pissing me off than somebody faking killing themselves for attention. Lil Cobra just was a bad chatter. He had bad takes. He rage baited me constantly, and not even for content, just to be an asshole. Like, he was just a dickhead, right? He might be a great chatter now. I don't know. Whether or not we would have him back in chat, I don't even know what he's doing with his life. But for Vengeance, I don't really remember. I think Vengeance was the guy that was like, he's called me a spineless, like, pussy libtard or something like that. Isn't that what he said? Vengeance was, like, just a dickhead, too, and he made, like, 9 different accounts to come in my stream and, like, talk shit. But for this, that's, like, I don't know, man. I just can't. Valor's crazy. Well, yeah, now Zod isn't here right now, probably. But Zod really wants me to do a bracket, side note, of the worst chatters I've ever had. And he made the bracket. And one day I would go through it. I don't know when. He made a bracket of like 32 of the worst Twitch chatters. Obviously beyond, like, worst Twitch chatters in like an extended sense of, you know, like they've had multiple chats. Like, obviously the worst chatters of them all are the people that are just spamming slurs and like doing shit like they're not in contention though. Because it's like they're not really a chatter. They're just like, they seem like a bot that just types like racial slurs and like homophobic stuff. Like, that's its own thing. Do it right now? Not right now. He would want to be here for it. I hit the stock market lottery, made a very large sum of money, mid 8 figures at 19, wondering if you had any advice on what I should do in my situation. Brother, I legally can't give you financial advice. I'm sorry. CJ, thank you for the 4, but congrats on that. Sorry to deal with people like that. Thank you for being genuine. Bro, you don't have to thank me for anything. I'm just like, I don't know. It's just, it's more and more, man. It's more and more. The more I've grown, the more the people have gotten nuts. The people that are crazy, that talk shit, that say crazy stuff. Like, I don't know, man. It's just, ugh. And that's why, like, I said I was taking a step back. That's why I take, like, averagely 2 days off a week now. It's because, like, I just can't, bro. Like, that's why chat's in sub only all the time. It's not just the spam. It's like, subs are more likely to be parasocial, but subs are also more likely to not be weird because they pay to subscribe to me. So they'll be normal, right? So that's why, like, my chat sits in sub only so much now. It's just, and it's not like me trying to farm money. Like, I'm being honest. My YouTube revenue is incomparable. Like, I don't do Twitch for the money. I do Twitch to make content for YouTube. But, like, yeah. And sub only is really just like, I don't even run mid-roll. Sub only is just there for, like, a calmer chat. Some thank you for the 3. I want to apologize on behalf of all the shit chatters and people that are trying to get attention to ridiculous ways. Nobody talks about the weight that stuff could have on you. To most people, you're just streaming them, watch them with their day, your own personal, with your own life. I'm sorry. People don't take that into consideration. You're good. Zach, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. Christmas 2019, my dad had a massive heart attack. We almost lost him. Luckily, appreciate everything you advocate for, especially your coming up AHA donation stream. Thank you. Well, I'm glad that your dad's okay. And I'm sorry that he had to go through that. JC and NJ for the sub. Justin Carly for the sub. It's and Stasis for the sub. Sarah, Carly, and Yak, thank you for the sub. Pretty, thank you for the 5. Push me to start therapy. Going for a year now. It's actually working. That's awesome. O-Dreams, thank you for the 3. I hope you're doing all right. Please don't send bits right now. TB, thank you for the 3. But watch this since 2023. I already read that. That, thank you for the sub. Unbaited for the 1,000 biddies. My grandpa passed away Saturday. Rip the chat, man. I'm sorry for your loss. I hope you're all right. Now, thank you for the 3. Now trying to promo. I have like 30 subscribers. I'd love for you to check out my YouTube channel. No, man, I'm sorry. That, thank you for the sub. Show it on stream because I'm not asking for free viewers. I want to know your opinion. Okay, I'm down to do a day where I go over chat's channels and give my opinion on their content, but I'm going to be brutally honest, right? Like, a lot of the time when people want me to check out their channel, they go like, they kind of want free. I'm not saying you want promo because it seems like you don't. You just want like constructive criticism, which is like perfectly fine. But, and I'm not going to ban you. You're not self-promoting. But I'm down to like do that one day. The problem is so many people are so like they would be upset because I would look at their content and then they would be annoyed when I'm like, hey man, you post videos in 480p and it's just like no face cam Fortnite gameplay of you playing a custom Simpsons map. Like, this is ass. Like, this is bad content. I don't know how you could see this as like good, right? Like, and then they would be upset, right? Spicy and Jeff for the sub, beefing for the sub. I'm being honest. The majority of people that self-promo in my chat make Fortnite content. And I don't know why. Semi for the sub. I don't think the majority of you make Fortnite content. I think people that self-promo do Fortnite. Always. Always. I don't know why. Recording on a TV? Yo, actually, sometimes like literally like iPhone recording their TV of them playing. It's just crazy. Tommy and Semi for the sub. Y'all check my Fortnite clips? You want me to peep your Fortnite clips, Cheeto? Do you have Fortnite clips? Oh my god. No, you don't. Cheeto has 1 hour and 46 minute stream.
Longer think that I'm close.
Oh, you speed run Minecraft. Oh god.
I need to make bread. Should I try to do preemptive?
Do y'all remember when I tried to speed run Minecraft and I couldn't? And I literally never even beat the game. Like, I speed ran Minecraft for like, I think it was like a month. And I couldn't even win. Like, I couldn't beat Minecraft. Because you suck. Fuck you. Soccer, thank you for the 1,000 biddies. When's the next philosophy video? Probably at the end of stream. I don't know if this really counts as philosophy, but we'll probably definitely do one on Sunday. Semi and Tommy for the sub. Spicy Jeff for the sub. Spicy for the sub. We got to lock in. Chat, type locked in next video. Praying for the sub. Joe missed my bets like 10 minutes ago. I called that shit out when it happened because there was no fucking chance his mom donated bits for the Joe Bart right after her son killed himself. I knew the second you read it. I don't want to say that either, Ethan, because, I mean, looking back at it, I could say I thought it was fake. But in the moment, I'm never going to say that. You know what I mean? In the moment, I'm going to treat it like it's real. But I was like, your son dies, and the first thing you do is come into Joe Bart's stream and let him know. Like, out of everything, out of every single thing you would do as a mother, you go into the Joe Bart stream and tell him. I also wanted to be critical. Like, at the time, I was like, you're the mom, and you knew that he was a fan of me and coming to me for help, but you didn't help him yourself. Like, it was just, like, a weird situation. Roser, thank you for the sub. XD and Harry for the sub. Braindead Spicy for the sub. All right, yeah, lock in. Yeah, who goes on their son's Twitch account? That's what I'm saying. Well, no, there was a time. See, that's different when in the case of suicide. I had a chatter that had terminal cancer. And they died. And it was very sad. And they were watching my stream on hospice for, I think, 2 months. And after they died, their dad, Schmegma, their dad came into my I think it was their dad or their mom, came into my chat and let me know. And that was entirely different. Because, like, he was a long-term fan of mine. He had been watching me throughout hospice and keeping me updated on it. And then the dad, I think it was the dad, yeah, came in and was like, hey, you know, my son passed. I'm just letting you know. And it was really sad. And I've had other instances like that. I think that's a totally different situation, though, where it's like, I've had a few chatters that have been on hospice, and I've gotten emails from their parents being like, hey, you know, my daughter or son really loved your content, and I wanted to let you know that you got them through, you know, the last bits. I've also made some videos for chatters on hospice, you know, because I think a lot of people that are on hospice that are my viewers that like my content resonate a little bit with the philosophy, and I'm glad I'm able to help in that sense, you know, like I'm glad I'm able to do some sort of good in like, hey, wow, like my ramblings are not only relatable, but like somewhat consoling to people that are going through shit. Like especially terminal illness. Jesus, thank you for the 4. Tough for the 3. Do you think you could do a charity stream for narcolepsy? My mom's going through it and mean a lot. Love the content, man. Hunter for the sub, Dren for the sub, Rosario, thank you for the sub. Well, this one I have is AHA, and then next one I have set up is F cancer. I'm not opposed to it. I'll just have to look into it on Tiltify. I don't really know what charity stream I'm doing next, though, after, because I already have 2 lined up. Actually, 3, because the one that I'm doing with the non-shaving thing is going to be... I'll tell you that in like a week. I have another charity stream lined up. Why aren't actors ugly anymore? Lock in. V got instead for the sub, Nemi for the 3. Lock in, chat. Why aren't actors ugly anymore?
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Bill Murray was 33 when he shot Ghostbusters.
That's right, boys.
And
I gotta say, Bill Murray is an unconventionally attractive man. Before we get into why aren't actors ugly anymore, I'm gonna do a bit of Bill Murray glaze here. I don't think Bill Murray's ugly. I think Bill Murray is a black pill 4, right? Sub 5. But I think the way he puts himself on is like an 8. You know who's really attractive? And I always glaze this guy. From the Fallout show, Walton Goggins. I think Walton Goggins is one of the few men that can rock the horrible hairline. And he is also, I think Walton Goggins is like a 9. Like, Walton Goggins is a very attractive man, but he's unconventionally attractive. He has a very bad hairline. And he doesn't really, I think it's like his facial symmetry is very nice. He's a good bone structure. Now I'm glazing. Anyways.
In the 70s and 80s, this is what actors in their 30s and 40s look like. But something has changed since then, because actors that age...
Facial surgery and Botox. Large-scale facial surgery from the Hollywood's greatest to try and keep themselves looking the same that they did in their 20s. To where when they're like 50, they start looking like dolls. And it's scary. Like, I love a man in Hollywood that owns the wrinkles, you know? Like, owns the wrinkles. There's a lot of older women in Hollywood that do it, and I think a lot of women in Hollywood don't go overboard. I think a lot of women in Hollywood get, like, base Botox to kind of, like, get rid of, like, the crow's feet. But, like, I'm never going to judge what people want to do with their face. And this is kind of me, it's sounding like I'm judging. But, like, Ryan Gosling does a lot, he has a lot of, I don't know if this image is edited, but, like, his face is more puffy from what he's done, you know? Like, I still think he looks great, but it's like, there becomes a point where it's like, okay, you look like a 50-year-old that's making themselves try to look 30 versus, like, I think you can look great as an aging man or woman, right? Who's, like, an older actor that doesn't do Botox or, like, facial surgery stuff? Maybe, like, Ashton Kutcher. Maybe, like, Ashton Kutcher. I don't know. But he's also not that old. Jack Black. Jack Black was never... I'm more talking about, like, guys that were considerable heartthrobs, you know? Like, people that were, like, you know, praised for their attractiveness. Whereas, like, Jack Black, I think he's obviously great-looking man. Stunning. Stunning. Has cheetah eyes. But, you know, he was never praised for his attractiveness. He was praised for his acting abilities, his singing, how, like, cool he was. William Dafoe. Yeah. William Dafoe does it well, too. Yeah. Like, I think he looks good. I know he's old, but he looks like, it's like, I fuck with that, you know? Like, dude, that was like the uncanny shit was that Dunkin' commercial. Can we watch that real quick? And then we'll get back into it. Like, I know they CGI de-aged everybody, but it was fucking creepy. Dunkin' Super Bowl commercial 2026. I hated it.
Before the movie,
I think this has copyrighted music, so we're gonna just scroll through. But, like, they made all of them. Oh my god! Like Joey, what is his name? Not Joey Tribbiani. Well, that's who he plays, but I always forget his actor's name. Dude, that's creepy. No, the worst one is Jennifer Aniston. They make Jennifer Aniston look scary when she shows up, bro. Like, she looks like a doll, the way they CGI her face. Oh, my God. It's just, I think that's one of the reasons why actors aren't ugly anymore. But, like, it's also just this obsession with looks on social media, especially short-form media now, where I think a lot of people that get opportunities, it's like the foot in the door is no longer the acting ability, it's the look. I think Hollywood is so much more now about, like, we want a guy that's going to look good, right? But it gets unrealistic. You know what I mean? Like, now we have, like, Timothy Chalamet. I'm not saying he has this, but, like, Timothy Chalamet did Marty Supreme. I think he did a great job. You know, blah, blah, blah. The promotion was awesome, right? But, like, you could have, like, Timothy Chalamet playing a regular New York taxi driver. Totally unrealistic. Totally unrealistic. Let's get a guy that actually looks like a fucking New York City taxi driver, okay? Let's get a regular guy off the street and fucking cast him. Why are we trying to make people... Why are we fitting these, like, 10 out of 10 actors in terms of attractiveness to, like, just, like, an average role? We're like, yeah, this guy's definitely going to just be flipping burgers. No.
Today don't look like this anymore.
I lost my hand!
They look like this. Or like this. Actors today...
Yeah, 35? What the fuck?
Today need to have great hair, perfect skin, and be in flawless shape. They don't look like regular people anymore. They look like supermodels. This isn't every single actor.
No, they look like supermodels, and then there's, like, this weird diverging role, right? It's like older movies from, like, 2010 and before. You had people that were really attractive. You had the average-looking guy or woman. And then you have, like, people that get cast in ugly roles, right? Like, they did it a lot in Disney. They did it a lot in Nickelodeon. They do it a lot in, like, comedy movies where, like, they literally cast somebody to be the ugly guy. Now, it's, like, really attractive people, average extras, and then ugly people as roles. I always wonder that, too. I'm like, that sucks to be cast as, like, the fat guy in a role. I always wonder if that upsets them, you know? Because there's so many movies where it's like, they literally cast you as the ugly fat guy. But that's your role. Like, you're not a main character. You're just like a side scene for 5 minutes where it's like, oh, look how ugly and fat this guy is. And then they move on.
Actor. But it's clear there's been an overall change in how A-list performers look. And it's also how they're shown to the camera, like in low lighting and with more vibrant colours. They're surrounded by other people, and on an actual set, rather than a green screen.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
You're probably going to say this is because of a wider trend of movies looking bland and flat nowadays, and things like bad lighting, dull colours, and the Netflixy look make basically everything in modern movies look worse. And also, we can't ignore cosmetic surgery.
As my plastic surgeon always said.
But if you look at movies from before the millennia, it's hard to deny that the actors looked more like regular people.
Keep it still back there, lady, or else we're gonna have to shoot you.
I feel like maybe, do you think that it's also just the lack of average-looking people getting into acting? Because all the people that I know now in social media and just also in my life that get into acting are like 8 out of 10 or higher. I think like so many people that love theater and want to get into acting are like shunned at a young age because they don't fit like this beauty standard, even if the skills are there.
Okay, so the word ugly is a bit harsh, and I'm not trying to objectify.
Yeah, no, I don't think ugly. It's like that people in Hollywood don't look real. Like, am I crazy to say there's an uncanny level of attractiveness where somebody is so good looking that it's actually a turnoff? Like, you don't look real. It's that good. And it's like, okay, no, like, you look like a doll. Like, actually like a doll. Like, they've sculpted you.
Or body shame anyone. Most people who are cast in movies aren't unpleasant to look at. I just mean that they have bodies and faces that practically belong to a normal person without the aid of personal trainers, dietitians, and plastic surgeons. They look like normal everyday people you could see walking down the street.
I need a man who has powerful friends.
Bruce Willis, Bill Murray, and Jack Nicholson aren't bad-looking guys, but they have a sort of everyman appeal that we just don't see in today's...
Yeah, you would walk past them on the street and not bat an eye.
Stars.
Saw it on the television.
And I love that because I think that brings you into the movie, you know? When it's just like a regular handyman that becomes this agent or something and he's like a 10 out of 10. I'm like, bro, the average roofer that I hire to do a job is not going to look like fucking Brad Pitt, right? He's going to be a big gut, blue collar man that's going to fucking staple some paddings to my roof, you know? He's going to look like an everyday guy I walk past on the street.
Big part of this is that today, people just generally look younger.
Physical.
clean. Hey.
I think people look younger. I think people get work to look younger. And I also think the average person today is better looking too. Can I say that? I think like every generation looks better than the generation before it. Maybe that's also a fashion thing. Like if I look back at like pictures of 30-year-olds in the 1950s, they look weird to me because they're wearing like fucking clothing that isn't in style anymore. Isn't that the point of evolution? Yeah, like natural selection to a degree. But I also think people are better at holding themselves and like, you know, making themselves look the best that their potential enables them to.
26.
There's a great Vsauce video from a few years ago that goes into this in more detail. Essentially,
we watched that. That was a really good video too. What, that people look older?
In more detail. Essentially, the clothes and overall style has changed, and combined with better medical care, nutrition, and less smoking, people are healthier and better looking.
I guess I started smoking when I was about 4.
Healthier is a debatable question.
So here's a few age comparisons that highlight this in action.
My mom was already dead then from lung cancer.
Gene Hackman is 44 here. Actors in their mid-40s today look like this.
Are we soulmates?
Or like this.
And that's nuts, man. Like, I know for a fact in my mid-40s, I'm not going to look like that. I'm going to look so much worse. Like, it is unreal, dude. He looks 32. Like, how old would you say, genuinely speaking, chat, how old would you say Chris Evans looks there? 34 tops. Mid-young 30s.
Or like this.
Not 39.
There's quite a big difference.
Just a little slap.
Sylvester Stallone was 30 when he first shot Rocky.
Look at his face.
A comparable actor today would be Timothée Chalamet at 29.
Young pop.
Now, they play very different types of characters. If we want to be fair, let's compare two all-American action stars.
Drop it, dickhead.
Glenn Powell, 35 in Twisters, and Bruce Willis, 33 in Die Hard.
Bro, Glenn Powell will still play the young love interest in like a 2026 rom-com. They were not casting 35-year-olds to do that 20 years ago.
Robert Pattinson was 35 when he played Batman, and Michael Keaton was only 2 years older.
Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
But Keaton has visible lines around his mouth, his hair has receded a bit, and he has a subtle 5 o'clock shadow that doesn't feel purposeful. But Pattinson, even though dressed up to look sleep-deprived and reclusive, has a chiseled jaw and perfect skin. Overall, he looks a lot younger.
That's interesting.
But there's something more at play than actors simply looking older in the past.
Frank, they're not here for you.
Do you think it's the makeup too? They still were doing crazy makeup in the 90s. Like, that can't be what it is. They're not making them look younger in the film.
It's the kind of faces that have changed too.
Weird Al Yankovic is on the plane.
It's the everyman look, receding curly hair or imperfect skin. And it's because of these distinct features that characters had a stronger sense of personality just by looking at them.
Do you have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
But before we continue, let's take a moment to thank today's sponsor.
Dude, I gotta rewatch all the Ghostbusters films.
Opera Browser. Link in the description and the pinned comment. And now,
I think that it's ugly people trying to get into acting and then they never make it because they look bad. But they don't look bad. It's like there's so many roles in acting that need to be filled, right? There's so many people going into acting. It's like this bottleneck effect where there's like, 10 roles but 100 people applying. But even then, it's not like, oh, it's because they don't fit the bill. Like, there's so many average people that need to get cast for roles, but it's just like they're picking like 10s now for fucking main characters.
Back to ugly actors and aesthetic personalities.
Do you have any hobbies?
In the opening of Once Upon a Time in the West, we meet 3 characters who don't survive the end of the scene. But they all have an interesting look. Al Mullock has long hair blowing across his face and vibrant blue eyes. Jack Elam has the long eyebrows and beard that goes down his neck. And then Woody Strode looks completely different, with a square jaw and a piercing look. From their faces alone, we can get a level of understanding to their character. It's hard to put into words, but we get a feeling that this guy is going to behave differently to this guy. And then compare them to the station manager. We can understand the dynamic just from the way they look. You can say this is down to great casting, and to some extent it is, but ultimately, it's just these guys' faces that carry the entire 15-minute opening.
Oh, well, I suppose it'll be alright.
Yeah, like he just looks like a disheveled old man. Like this guy looks like some dude you would see on the side of the road in New York City.
It'll be all right.
It's the same with the heads of the 5 families in The Godfather. Sure, they all look like mob bosses, but they have small differences in their appearance.
You're all grateful.
Wow, I love like the YouTuber breakdowns that these guys, or not the cinephile breakdowns that these YouTubers do. Like, I love these analyst movies. I never think, because you don't, it's like such subconscious shit that you don't even think about until they bring it up. Where it's like, wow, the mob bosses really are very similar, but like the mustache and the slick back hair is different. A cinephile, that's somebody that loves movies.
Suppose it'll be all right.
Like a movie-obsessed person.
It's the same with the heads of the 5 families in The Godfather. Sure, they all look like mob bosses, but they have small differences in their appearance.
You're all grateful to Don Corleone for calling this meeting.
How they style their hair, the type of suit they wear, and how fat they are, all goes a long way to tell us about their character.
He had all the judges and politicians in his pocket.
And this isn't just limited to side characters. Even the leads in the past had a more interesting look. They didn't all look like supermodels.
You look like 40 miles of rough road.
This is people like Sissy Spacek, Leslie Nielsen, and Cher. They simultaneously look like a normal person, but also have a unique look.
Completely normal individual.
Kurt Russell in Escape from New York was big, but in shirtless scenes his abs have little definition. Bruce Willis was handsome, but his receding hairline and modest muscles retain a sort of everyman look. And compare how Hugh Jackman looked in the first X-Men film in 2000 to Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah, he looks better. It's like, how does Hugh Jackman in his 20s look more average than now?
So what is the effect of this? What is the
fucking ripped six-pack? Looks like he's on steroids.
Effect of seeing these regular looking people on screen? And how does seeing interesting faces work to make a movie better? Let's take a look at a few examples.
What have you done to it? What have you done to its eyes?
This is Mia Farrow in Rosemary's Baby.
I'm Rosemary Woodhouse.
As the film progresses, she cuts her hair shorter and begins to look paler and thinner. Visually, we understand the transformation the character is undergoing.
I'm not changing. I just want to go to Dr. Hill and get a second opinion.
Would this work if she was played by someone like Margot Robbie? I don't think so. It's Mia Farrow's unique look that helps make the character feel like an actual person that could exist somewhere, which makes us empathize with her more.
Dr. Hill, please.
It's the same with John Travolta in Blowout, Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Well, because the average person that's watching a movie that wants to relate to the main character isn't going to... Like, I get you casting fucking Chris Evans and Hemsworth for Thor and Captain America. They're fucking superheroes. They're not supposed to be everyday people. Thor is a god, right? But, like, when you have a regular taxi driver playing a role in a movie, you want that guy to be relatable, and the average person watching the movie isn't going to relate to a guy that's a 10.
And Malcolm McDowell in A Clockwork Orange.
It was horrible.
In Star Wars, Luke and his family look like fairly ordinary people, whereas Grand Moff Tarkin and the Imperial officers have a much more austere look to them.
Fear will keep the local systems in line.
In the 20th century, the pool of actors to choose from seems to have been much more aesthetically varied than it is today. There was actors with big noses.
I got it, go ahead.
Big foreheads.
He's gonna prove it to the whole world.
Heavy-set eyes.
Did you know that?
And receding hairlines.
With you and me together, that'd be tops.
We subconsciously infer things about people's personality based on their features, which in turn helps them create a richer character without much heavy lifting.
Mentally, you picture my dog.
In Taxi Driver...
But I think they do so... Like, there's still TV shows... I think movies, it's gone away, but TV shows, they still have it. Always Sunny in Philadelphia isn't even filmed in Philly, but it still gives that Philly vibe. They look like regular-ass white people that live in Philly. Danny DeVito is like Danny DeVito, like sometimes they make him seem like a goblin, bro. He'll be naked crawling out of a fucking couch covered in oil. Like, I know that's part of the comedy, but it's like they're not like, imagine if Always Sunny in Philly was just like Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt as the old guy, and then, you know, Olivia Rodrigo. You'd be like, okay, well, these aren't regular fucking Philly actors. There's shows where they actually make fun of that. Like, I Love LA. They make fun of LA culture. They look like LA people. They might live in LA, but like they cast people that like fit this LA role, and it makes fun of that. So I love that show. I don't watch it all the time. I'll watch it with Brooke when she's watching it, but it's a good fucking show.
De Niro's buddies look like real cab drivers you could actually find in.
But even back then, they had people that didn't. It's so weird because I think on average, movies in general do cast higher attractive roles. But like, dude, the cast of Friends, all attractive, all of them. Maybe Ross is like unconventionally attractive, but like Phoebe, Monica, and Rachel are all 9s, 10s, right? Very pretty. Joey Tribbiani, attractive guy. Chandler, attractive guy, right? Ross, I would say maybe unconventionally attractive, but he also was signed for that role. It makes sense, right? Like, Ross is still a good-looking dude. It's like all of them were 10s, almost. Chandler, I think Chandler was a good-looking guy. Obviously, he was dealing with, like, you know, problems where he was fluctuating in weight, and, like, he looked different depending on the scene, but I think overall he still looked good.
New York. This guy, completely bald on top, but with a flow at the back. This guy with his scruffy beard and round glasses. And even De Niro himself with his 5 o'clock shadow and redness around his eyes. If you got into a cab and this was the driver, you wouldn't think twice.
Did I tell you to do that with the meter?
All of these actors look like they actually belong in the setting rather than just walking out of a dressing room.
Can I talk to you for a second?
And this is environmental immersion. In 1976, after Sylvester Stallone went 15 rounds in Rocky, his face was soaking wet, his hair sticking to his head, and he's covered in blood with his face fully contorted with bruises. But in 2015, after Michael B. Jordan fought in Creed, he's just got a subtle sheen of sweat and a small...
Yeah, bro, they make him look too good. I'm like, this is, bro, Paddy Pimblett in that UFC fight where he didn't get knocked out, but he got his head fucked up so bad that he literally looked like a pumpkin. His face was swelling so much. Like, get the hell out of here. I'm supposed to watch Creed and be like, oh, dude, his face is a little scuffed and he's getting killed this fight, but it'll be all right.
Bruise around one eye.
Like, I need to see one eye swollen. Stop! Like, that would put you on the floor. Bro, your face would be so fucked if you got knocked like that.
Stop! It's me!
At the end of Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's suit is ripped to hell, revealing his bruised, dirty, and sweaty face. And
that's one thing I'll say about Spider-Man. People get upset with me. I think the first Spider-Man is the worst Spider-Man. I think that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is better than Tobey Maguire's, but I think Tobey Maguire fits the Spider-Man look the best out of any of them. I love Tom Holland the most. I actually think Andrew Garfield second, Tobey Maguire third, off of acting. But when you think of like everyday New Yorker, kind of a nerd, you know, a dweeb, getting these powers and then becoming a superhero, I'm not thinking of Tom Holland. And I'm not thinking of Andrew Garfield. I'm thinking of Toby McChud, you know, Chud Maguire, you know, that's the guy that fits the bill, you know, looks like an everyday dude, gets powers, becomes some superhero god, has that really cringy scene where they slick his hair back when he's Venom and he's like, I hate that scene, by the way. That's the worst. Like that, whenever I see that scene, it's right below the Happy Birthday song in Breaking Bad.
Chaotic tear across his mask.
Mr. Osborn.
But for Tom Holland, he's got a couple of cuts that seem very intentionally placed, and his suit isn't ripped at all. His mask hasn't been torn open, but just neatly taken off.
Blondie? Water?
After Clint Eastwood walked 70 miles in the desert, his face is completely scarred and burned. We can barely recognize him. But today, there aren't many examples of actors looking scarred like this. It seems like everyone has to look perfect all the time. It's as if somewhere along the way, almost every actor has taken
That movie was so fucking bad. That movie was so fucking bad. Jurassic World, love Scarlett Johansson. My God, this movie was terrible. Every scene, she's like, well, I'm a co-op expert. That's why they hired me. I'm a co-op expert. What the fuck do you have to do? I'm a co-op expert. Okay, so we're bringing you to go extract dinosaur blood? You worked in the military and, like, covert shit. What the hell does that have to do with going to stab a T-Rex? Okay? You have your skill transfer. That's like you being a pro in Rocket League and being like, I'm a Rocket League pro. And we're in fucking Vietnam. And we're in Vietnam, you know? We're loading artillery and you're like, don't worry, I was SSL. That means about jack shit to me. What the fuck does that have to do with this?
All the time. It's as if somewhere along the way almost every actor has taken the substance and transformed into a kind of picture-perfect version of themselves. Not a single wrinkle, not a hair out of place, and completely smooth skin. The best we'll get is maybe a small smear of dirt or a tiny...
The worst that I despise is movie scenes where they're like so fucked. They've been surviving in the wilderness. They, you know, fighting limb to limb to survive. And then you see their teeth, pearly white. They've been in the jungle for 6 months. And they fuck up their face and they make them look, you know, all messed up. And then they're like, and you see the glare off their teeth. I'm like, yo, it's not like, why we can't tint their teeth yellow to make this look more real.
Cut. And they look great, but when everyone looks perfect, things start to get a bit stale.
Well, see, no, that scene's different because that's just Vin Diesel. Right, that's Dom Toretto. Vin Diesel after plunging a burning car into dirty water. It's Dom Toretto.
And they look great.
Dom Toretto's fucking a badass.
But when everyone looks perfect, things start to get a bit stale. And sure, this isn't every single actor working today. You can still find distinct looking people, but it seems like it is the majority of them. In an article from
That's what I was saying.
2021, Raquel S. Benedict likens our body to becoming investments in which we have to maximize our value through looking good. We're reduced to a collection of features like perfect skin or a strong jawline. The body is no—
Oh my god, what is that thing called where it's supposed to give you a better jaw? Bro, just like chew gum. I never understand that shit. Jawzercise, I think is the name of the product. Average for the sub. Dolly, thank you for the 3. Suicidal for a few years. When I thought of my future, everybody made me, that once made me happy to think about. Now seemed like a chore. I wasn't excited anymore. Didn't want to do it. So even if I was enjoying my current life, I would think about the future dread, which was why I was suicidal. You're amazing. You got me through a lot, so thank you for caring about strangers. Well, I hope that you're doing all right, and I'm sorry you were going through that. Average for the sub. You're thank you for the 8. My boyfriend and I love your content. Brooke is gorgeous. Will you ever do a Subnautica playthrough? I played Subnautica for a bit. I'm going to play Subnautica 2 when it drops, but I'm not going to finish regular Subnautica, no. Terminator, thank you for the 3, and thank you for that, though. Brecky and Zeno, thank you for the sub. Ghost, thank you for the 3. Tom on a month or 2 ago, couldn't believe he was about to be 30. Big for the sub. Envy and Big, Rune, Wrath, and L3 for the sub. Awesome. Hugh, WTH, thank you for the 5. Gifted Bang and Spesso, thank you for the sub. Andy Terminator, Fresnot, Julia, thank you for the sub. Villager for the sub. Send your own, thank you for the 3. Felt like a jump by your membership, but what I actually got out was fire. Awesome. Billy, thank you for the sub. Glad that you like it. Linux, thank you for the 3. Videos of Philosophy channels underrated. This is the best one. Lava and Callan, thank you for the sub. Little 1V, thank you for the sub. Daniel and Sadak for the sub. Nebby for the 3. Tough, thank you for the 3. Already with that. Ayla and Cheese at the sub. Cheese with the sub. Lock in.
Features like perfect skin or a strong jawline. The body is no longer the vehicle through which we experience joy and pleasure, but a status symbol that needs to be constantly presentable to the world.
Put your greasy tits away, you preening slut.
For actors, this is taken to the extreme, especially for women. They can never age or show any imperfection. They need to be a bankable star, and a big part of this is looking good on camera.
Pretty girls should always smile.
Let's take hairlines as an example. Sure, Andrew Garfield probably got a hair transplant because he thought it would improve his appearance, but also because it's better to have a smaller forehead as a leading man. And with modern technology, if you can fix this, why wouldn't you?
Yes, Sergeant!
This just wasn't the case in the past, hence a wider spectrum of hairlines and a bigger aesthetic variety.
I wouldn't touch one hair on his goddamn little head.
But today, this is becoming increasingly noticeable, and more people are—
But it's when they're playing a role. I think you want a smaller forehead when the main character is 40 or below. But if you're a main character in your 50s as a guy, having a perfect hairline is almost off-putting. Because the average man in his 50s is going to either be bald or have a receding hairline. Like, without a doubt.
Commenting on it, and here are a few things they've said. I miss actors having normal teeth, and then a picture of Tom Cruise from The Outsiders.
Check this out, buddy.
It's so annoying and just plain boring that everyone has the same teeth, the same body. I miss people looking—
Okay, well, the Barbie movie is a bad example because Margot Robbie is supposed to look uncannily perfect. Like, I was gonna mention the Barbie movie where she's supposed to look perfect, right?
Different and interesting.
Restroom and make sure my hair is perfect.
I watched Invasion of the Body Snatchers last night, and it stood out to me that while Sutherland is hot, he's also clearly in his 40s. Like, if Hollywood wanted to make a movie of a 40-something A-lister playing a middle-aged health inspector, who would they cast? Ryan Reynolds? Chris Evans?
I got this.
We no longer have leading men who are good-looking and charismatic, but also don't look like they wake up at 5 AM to hit the gym. On Twitter, someone was talking about the 1974 movie Taking of Pelham 123. They said it's weirdly invigorating to watch a movie where every actor has an incredible face, and they all look normal, like no veneers inside.
This is supposed to be a democracy.
Old actors have more grace than current ones. We can't have a truly accurate cast for the Beatles because they just don't make weird, crusty-looking young men actors like that anymore. I miss casting movies that weren't all A-listers or trying to be. Sometimes just having normal-ass people in your movie make...
I have been complaining about the fact that... Oh, wow, this guy plays the serial killer in Dexter. Anyways, sorry. I don't even know this guy's name, but I just recognize the face. Oh my god, what was I gonna say? That just fucking distracted the shit out of me. I've been ranting about how I don't like that the new actors, like Gen Z actors, it's like there's like 5 of them. there's like 5 of them. Whenever you see a big new movie coming out, it's never like a random actor playing the main role. It's always somebody that's like super famous. And I think it's this idea, too, from Hollywood that, like, what gets ticket sales is mainstream actors. And it's true to a degree that, like, if you see a movie that's coming out and it has a famous actor in it, you're more likely to go see it. You know, like, if Jacob Elordi, is in a movie, you're going to be like, well, I kind of want to go see that. But if Jacob Elordi's not in the film and it's just, like, some random guy that isn't that super attractive... or woman for that matter, it's like, you know, it's the same thing. I want to look up, like, famous Gen Z actors. Do they have, like, a list? Yeah, Finn Wolfhard. Zachary Gordon, Jared Gilman. I don't know who any of these fucking people are. What is this stupid-ass list? Gen Z actors. Wow, it's literally just listing all of them. Okay, well, that's not helpful. I more so mean, like, the level of popular actors is, like, it's a smaller pool now.
Makes it feel more realistic. To which someone replied, convinced this will be the downfall of the Odyssey. Which brings us on to perhaps a good label to put on this kind of perfect-looking A-lister we see today. iPhone face. It's hard to define, but I think it's basically this kind of pristine look that most actors seem to have. It's why some people look out of place in period pieces, because they've got a modern haircut or their teeth are too white. They're striving for a kind of look that didn't really exist before the 21st century. And this speaks to a kind of aesthetic that many modern movies have. They're perfectly lit, the set perfectly designed, the actors in perfectly clean clothes. But this kind of perfection just makes it all look boring. It's the messiness of a normal...
And it doesn't bring... The immersion's not there. Like, I want to see some shit where, you know, their couch is fucked up. Like, you're supposed to be this, like, struggling artist in this film, and you're playing, like, somebody that's broke. Meanwhile, yeah, your apartment's small, but you have, like, a brand new couch, and your carpet's perfectly clean, and you have no crumbs on the floor. There's no, like, weird marks on the walls, you know? Like, every regular room for somebody, you're going to have, like, a scratch or a hole in the wall. Like, why don't they have that?
Kitchen.
Method acting? Well, not even method acting for the actor. I'm more saying, like, the sets just suck.
Or the dirt kicked up from horses, the color of the set, and the way it's lit. We're losing a sense of personality not only in how actors look, but in how films in general look.
Hello?
Digital cinematography has given everything the same kind of Netflixy feel. Look, this isn't every movie, and it's not every actor. If you look for it, you can find interesting looking people.
Oh, that movie was so fucking stupid. Oh my god, no, I'm gonna get so mad if... Dude, every time he shows that Jurassic Park movie. Where if you don't know, there's like this... They're going... Okay, so in the Jurassic Park movie, the new one... Dinosaurs exist, but they only can live at the equator, and you're not allowed to go to the equator. This stupid fucking family is driving a boat through the equator, and they get capsized by a dinosaur. Shocker. They all freak out. The boyfriend's a dick, blah, blah, blah. They end up getting picked up by Scarlett Johansson and her crew, which is trying to extract dinosaur blood to, like, cure cancer. That's the plot, right? Like, it's trying to, like, cure cancer, extend people's lifetimes. It's gonna, like, make people immortal or some shit, right? And you're just sitting here like, oh, okay. They don't even explain why. And they get on this boat. They end up getting separated. And the family is, like, struggling to survive in this area. And they're like, none of them die, by the way. Spoiler. Which is, like, so stupid. Because, you know, this is, like, a family of 5 that has no survival expertise. And they just get lucky at every corner. It's just, like, full plot armor. And while they're all, like, struggling for their life and, like, running from these crazy dinosaurs, one of their daughter, like, befriends this tiny dinosaur. And I'm like, dude, she would be terrified of that motherfucker. Their boat got capsized by a dinosaur. She's never seen dinosaurs in real life like this. They land on this island. They're getting chased by dinosaurs. And she sees this baby dinosaur that's, like, cute or whatever. And she's like, aw. I'm like, oh, hell no. She would not, like, walk up to that thing. Dude, everybody would be traumatic. I would be like, I would be scared to walk up to anything that was moving.
People in modern movies, but this whole change in how actors, and by extension movies in general, look is a natural result of an industry that's afraid to take risks. Movies need to make money, so they minimize anything that could theoretically make the film less successful, but in the process, remove what makes it special. Both films and actors aren't ugly anymore. They're not dirty anymore or bruised anymore. No one looks normal, and everyone looks perfect, and this is a problem.
It's
it really
worse than
is
Hubie Halloween. No, Hubie Halloween is a bottom 3 film. I love Adam Sandler. I think that when he plays that role where he does that, like, ooh, I don't know. I just have some soup in a bowl. I'm like, shut up. Shut up. That's, like, so it's so annoying. And it's like he's not playing the role well. It's like he has, like, 5 characters and one of them's, like, a quirky, weird guy that he plays. And he does the same thing in Waterboy. And it's like, oh my God. And he's, no, it's just, dude, it's so, I can't get over it. And there's Adam Sandler movies that I love. I just think that those movies are unbearable. Actually, no, Jack and Jill's worse than Hubie Halloween. Jack and Jill was the worst movie that he's ever made. Can we watch the trailer for Jack and Jill real quick? Adam Sandler always has, like, a fucking 10 out of 10 wife. And his wife will be in the movie, who's also very pretty. But it's never his wife. Like, Adam Sandler, there's, like, 5 movies where Adam Sandler's wife's in the film playing somebody else's wife. I'm like, what? Why are you two not just husband and wife in this film? Why does it have to be Sofia Vergara? There's this one TikTok where it's this guy and it's like POV, the apocalypse just hit and you're stuck with the most unbearable guy of all time. And he's like, don't worry, man. I have a collection of DVDs that'll get us through the apocalypse. And he just shows, like, all the Medea films and, like, Adam Sandler movies. He's like, oh, don't worry. I have all the Medea films on DVD. And you're like, oh, no, kill me. Medea has bangers, bro. I don't know. I don't know about the Medea films, man. I think that I like Medea. There's maybe, like, one Medea film, 2 that I would be like, okay, I'll watch this. But you can't say they're peak films. You can't say they're peak films. Like, if you're stuck in the apocalypse, that's probably the worst movie to watch. Like, Medea Goes to Prison. Like, oh my God. That would be, I also think if you're in the apocalypse, the only movies that I think are, like, reasonable to watch are apocalypse films. Like, imagine it's the Fallout and you're just, like, putting on Superbad. Like, the entire time you're going to be like, wait, well, the world's gone. So I feel like if I was in the apocalypse, I would only watch, like, Oppenheimer Fuck. What's that other movie where they like spray their paint with like silver, they spray their face with like silver paint and they say they're going to Valhalla. Chad, I know you got this. Mad Max. Yeah, like I would watch like Mad Max, Oppenheimer, just like apocalypse movies. That'd be the only thing I'd be able to do. Death Race, some shit like that. Frisk, thank you for the 5 gifteds. Reaper and A for the sub. Typical with the hell, thank you for the sub. Nord, thank you for the 3. Longtree Grand Emirates, thank you for the sub. Veer Prince for the sub. Arthur for the sub. He, thank you for the 3. Wonder will Brooke be on stream again, don't know. Zay9 and Forgot, thank you for the sub. You're thank you for the 3. All right. Wild, thank you for the sub. I gotta piss again, then we're gonna hop into the next movie. Or not movie. Video. Chat, count me down. Quick pass. Mod said that Savage submitted an unban request. Now we gotta look at that. Also, we gotta do an unban stream soon. I haven't done an unban stream. We might do one not next week, but the week after. I think I have like 40 or something that we could go through. Hold up. It was true. It was my brother. It was a horrible, rash thing he did. He doesn't get attention at home, and he used my mental health and suicide tendencies to try and get it. I'll try to monitor him and took my card off so he can't send bits and horrible chats. I don't think I should endure the punishment for his actions. I get that, man, but it's more so that it's just like your account, brother. Like, I'm just not, like, how do you prove that it was your brother, man? Like, don't believe him. I'm gonna, dude, like, there's literally no way to prove that it was your brother. I'm just taking your word for it. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, you know, but I wish you the best, bro. You're still welcome to watch the stream, but I'm not gonna have you chat. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be watching. It's more so just like your brother or not. Bits or not, if your brother is able to consistently access your account and fake being your mom saying you killed yourself, I gotta ban you. You know, like that's just how it is. What'd he do? He's saying his brother went on his account and faked being his mom and told me that he killed himself. Thuri and Roanoke, thank you for the sub. Drake for the sub. Victor and Saga for the sub. Willie and Frisker, thank you for the 5 gifteds. So, I banned him. But yeah. All right. Lock in, chat. Hold on. I got to finish my coffee. Oh, I didn't even fucking read the video title. Awkward. All right. Chimpanzees have entered the Stone Age. Rise of the Planet of the Apes, chat. It's coming true.
That chimpanzee just made a stone tool, and that one's hunting with a spear. If this looks like the Stone Age to you,
it looks like they're bashing shit with rocks, brother. I don't know about these chimps. I've seen orangutans use spears to fend off otters because they have a feud. I don't know if you knew that or not. They hate each other. Otters and, I think it's otters. And orangutans do not like each other at all. And orangutans know how to, like, build stuff. They could, like, use modern... Like, if you give an orangutan, like, a hammer and a saw, he'll, like, figure out how to make shit.
you're not wrong. They've wielded
Ooh, is that AI? No way they made that.
of years and some are Stone Age to you. You're not wrong.
If it made that, that's impressive. That's like an old school, like obsidian spearhead almost. That has to be AI.
They've wielded stone tools for thousands of years, and some are virtually identical to those crafted by our own ancestors.
So are they truly in the Stone Age or just standing on the edge? Let's find out.
Let's find out. I'm going to be going to the rainforest today to go interact with some of these monkeys. Or chimpanzees, apes, rather. Because monkeys and apes are different things. Anyways, he walks in, he's like, all right, I think I've spotted one.
For decades, researchers thought tool use is what separated us from the other animals, what made us human. That was until a revolutionary primatologist conducted a study in the 1960s. Jane Goodall ventured into the remote Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania. One day, she witnessed chimpanzees at a termite.
Why do I know that name? Did Jane Goodall recently die? Oh my God, she recently died in October at 91. Rep.
Mound repeatedly poked stalks of grass into the holes. The termites would bite onto the grass defensively, allowing the chimp to pull them out and eat them. Astonished at her discovery, Goodall told paleoanthropologist Louis Leakey, who wrote, "Now we must redefine tool, redefine man, or accept chimpanzees as human."
Okay, I don't know about accepting them as human, but I do think they're a lot more intelligent than we give them. And I have the take that if crows or ravens had opposable thumbs and they weren't in bird form, they would be on the progress to be as smart as us. They understand water displacement. They can hold generational grudges against people. Like if you upset a pack of crows, their kids will hate you. Like they are so smart. It's just they're incapable of making tools. Like they can't use the intelligence that they have to the greatest extent. Like I think one of the best, like not only are our brains big enough we have the most neural connections, like brain density, blah, blah, blah. We're able to fucking understand things. You know, we walk on 2 feet. We're able to, live in most climates. We're warm-blooded animals. There's a million things that enable us to evolve in the way that we've done. But I think, like, us being able to manipulate objects around us is the biggest thing.
Tools are evolutionary game changers. They unlock resources that would otherwise be impossible to reach. In the case of termite fishing, the stick directly aids chimpanzees in acquiring this food source. But this is far from their only tool. Further research has found that chimpanzees actually use over 20 different tools. One of the most important is their use of stone tools. Stone hammers are used to smash open hard nuts against anvil stones. This lets them consume abundant calories they otherwise would have no chance at eating. A recent paper looked closely at this behavior and found something fascinating. Using stone tools to open nuts is not present in every population. Chimps in seasonal, resource-scarce environments exploit nuts more often. But the study also
Wow. Do you think, I know this would be immoral. Do you think if we put a group of, this is like purely hypothetical. If you put a group, because I know environmental stress causes faster evolution and development. If you put chimpanzees and other apes on like a level of environmental stress that didn't kill them, but it forced them to, I guess, use the environment around them and evolve in a way that, they could survive, would they progress rapidly to where we are? Like if they had to adapt to their environment, would they? Some wouldn't. Like other animals would be incapable, they would just die. But I think like a lot of apes, like great apes specifically, have the brain capacity to do so. It's just if there's no need for change, then they won't. Like that's like the theory of like humans as well, as like that we were kind of forced out of the jungle with like our common ancestors. And then over time we had to adapt in a way that enabled us to get calories in an easier way. And we started cooking our food and, had an interconnected, I guess, hunter-gatherer society that then started to do farming and all this other shit where it's like we needed to. And now we progress for like, I guess, the lust for knowledge, which some animals show as well. But I wonder if apes would do that quicker if we, like, put them in a situation where they had to.
Also looked closer at the hammers and anvils themselves. They found that they differ regionally and choose a certain hammerstone size depending on the hardness of the nut. The so-called anvils that they smash the nuts against are usually just large flat stones that happen to be near the nut trees. These anvils are fairly distinct archaeologically, and researchers have found evidence that their use goes back at least 4,300 years, meaning that this behavior likely extends far into prehistory. What is also interesting to note is that some populations do not smash nuts at all, meaning some chimpanzee populations are more technologically advanced than others. Another important tool that chimpanzees use are spears. Yeah, that's right. They make their own spears by taking out—
Yo, look at his butthole, bruh. Holy shit. I mean, that is, I'm sorry, that is prolapsing, dog. That is that a nutsack? That's his butt? Bro, that's fucking gross. That is actually
a sturdy stick and biting the tip
That is like hanging out, bruh. That's like worse than a bonobo.
Form a sharp end. They use these
Oh
weapons—
my god. Yo, I actually can't stop looking at it. Sorry, I was gonna say something else. I got so distracted.
They use these weapons to stab into the burrows of bush babies, which are some of the cutest animals on the planet. They jam the stick into the burrow, killing the animal, and then they use the stick to get the animal out. These spears seem to be used exclusively for hunting animals that they physically cannot get to. They have never been witnessed using them against one another. However, chimpanzees have been documented using sticks and branches to hit each other. They even throw rocks during aggressive encounters. It seems that they have already had their 2001 Space Odyssey moment. So chimpanzees use rocks to crack open nuts, they fish for termites, and they even stab—
I mean, in the same sense, though, there's other animals that use tools. Like otters have like a lucky rock that they keep to crack open like clams and other things.
Prey with spears. So have they truly entered the Stone Age? Well, they are far from the only animals to use tools. Orangutans use sticks to fish for insects and honey. You may have even seen this image of an orangutan spearfishing. While it is true that this orangutan was imitating some fisherman he was watching, he was unsuccessful and pretty much just splashed a stick at the water, so it's not impressive as it might seem. Apparently after this shot he ended up stealing a fish that was already hooked by a fisherman, so I guess that's a win? But plenty of other primates like capuchin monkeys use stones on a daily basis to open shellfish. Even otters use stones to open shellfish. Crows fish with sticks, and octopuses use shells for protection. Tool use is not exclusive to humans.
Octopuses confuse the shit out of me, though. Don't they have, like, multiple brains? Yeah, they have 9 brains. Doesn't make any sense. They have 1 large central brain and 8 mini ganglia. 1 at each arm that allows the limbs to operate independently. So, like, they control each of their limbs from, like, a non-central nerve. Like, our brain controls both of our limbs. Imagine if we had our brain and then our arms and our legs had brains. Like, that's weird. I always wonder what that looks like. Like, I would pay an exorbitant amount of money. Is that a right word? Exorbitant. Exorbitant. Yeah, exorbitant. Yeah, big word of the day, chat. That's one of those words where I use the word and I don't know what it means, but I know that I used it right. I would use an exorbitant amount of money to feel what it's like to be in another animal's consciousness. Like, what living like an octopus is like. And I wouldn't pick, like, a dog. I would pick something that's, like, so fucking different. Like a pistol shrimp. What is it like to be a pistol shrimp? Can't they see, like, a million colors? Or is that a mantis shrimp?
Nor primates. So then what set our ancestors apart? Well, our ancestors took stone tools to another level by modifying them. By smashing stones together, they broke off sharp stone edges which could cut. This opened up all kinds of new resources for our ancestors. Just as the termite sticks or spears allow chimpanzees to
Or they knew even like earlier humans had the capability of using their mouth as a third arm to where when they would shave leather, they would hold, like they would have the sharp stone and they would pull it and then grip it with their teeth and shave it. And you could see it through the markings on their skeleton.
Extract calories out of their
Like, that's nuts.
environment, sharp stone tools allowed our ancestors to do the same. On the savannas where we evolved, carnivores are constantly killing prey and leaving their carcasses with plenty of meat and bone marrow left over. A study looking at zebras killed by lions found that on average, 33 pounds or 15 kilograms of meat was left over. That is roughly 20,000 calories in meat alone, not to mention the marrow. This would have met the daily requirements of about 27 early hominins. But to harvest this meat, our ancestors needed the sharp edges of stone to cut through tendons, scrape off meat.
Yo, imagine being an early human that just slayed an elephant with your pack, bruh. That would be like the biggest, a Super Bowl win. Beyond that, you just won the World Cup, bro. That'd be aura. You're literally you and five people just fucking killed an elephant. You're like, yo, we're set. Like we're chilling for like another month. I thought about that, and I know this is such a fucking first world thing to say. Like, not only are we privileged to be in, like, modern society, like, bro, people in old age, like, you can die of old age. People back then, like, every other animal, and even some humans in, like, certain countries, literally die from the inability to get food, but not like starving to death. They usually get so weak that something else kills them. Like, the majority of humans have died a gruesome death. Like, not laying in a hospital bed or, like, having a heart attack and just dying. Like, most humans are, like, slowly withering away and then getting fucking eaten.
And break into the brains and marrow. This was one of humanity's biggest breakthroughs. And it's not far off of what chimpanzees are currently doing in Africa. The earliest modified stone tools are 3.3 million years old. We don't know who was making them. It was most stone tools are 3.3 million years old. We don't know who
Jesus Christ. Yo, what do you think Clav would say about this? So your bone structure is pretty subpar.
Who was making them? It was most likely our ancestors or close relatives, but who knows? It could have even been the ancestors of chimpanzees. What we do know is that stone tool use wouldn't catch on until around 2.4 million years ago, when hominids started selecting stone that could hold a sharp edge, and then they learned how to produce efficient tools.
Here's an example of the kinds of tools that our ancestors were using well over 2 million years ago. It's really just a sharp flake of stone, but it's an incredibly useful tool for cutting through flesh and also pounding through bones and other objects. Though it's extremely simple, it was an evolutionary game changer for our ancestors.
Many paleoanthropologists would argue that the intentional development of a cutting edge has to be the lower.
I would never want to do this because there's no need to, but people talk about like buck fever when they're hunting and they like kill a deer and they start like shaking. I'm like, dude, I feel like that's like, yeah, maybe even with like archery. Yeah, I get it. I think like when you have a gun and you just shoot an animal, I'm not judging hunting. Like I would love to go hunting one day, right? I've never been hunting. I've gone fishing. I've done a bunch of, I've never gone hunting. I get the buck fever with the bow, but with a gun, I'm like, you didn't really like do much to kill the thing, you know? You just sat in a tree for 6 hours and then you shot it. Like, I feel like the adrenaline rush from running with like rudimentary clothing, holding a spear with like 5 people, and you're trying to fucking corner an animal, like that's like actively would kill you in a 1v1, but you're with 4 other people and one of you might die. Like, imagine. All of you might die. You know, you and 4 people are trying to fucking kill this whatever animal you're trying to kill at the time. Whether it be in sub-Saharan Africa or Europe or wherever it was at the time. And you're trying to fucking corner this thing. And it's ready to kill you. You know, I'm not talking about a deer. I'm talking about like a scarier animal. And you're just slow picking it away with like a stick. Or like a makeshift spear. Oh my God.
Bound of the Stone Age. Otherwise, otters and capuchins are also in the Stone Age.
Yeah, try to kill a fucking mammoth.
Chimpanzees have never been documented in the wild creating a sharp stone tool, but they are limited for a number of reasons. First of all, fine-grained stones that create sharp edges when broken, such as flint, are not common in the modern range of chimpanzees.
Guns equal cool? Well, I'm not judging people that hunt with guns. I'm saying it's not like... When people are, like, hunting with guns, I'm like, you're not getting back to, like, your ancestry, bro. Like, somebody with, like, a modern longbow, I'd be like, okay, yeah, you're, like, getting back to, like, the human roots, right? But if you shoot something with a fucking modern rifle, I'm like, that's a one-tap, bro. That's, like, it's basically, like, putting on cheat codes, you know?
Most of the time, it is thick jungle, and the stones they have access to are basically useless for cutting. Our ancestors, on the other hand, lived across open, rocky savannas that often had sources of quality stone. But just because chimpanzees don't have access to the right...
That's why I love, side note, that's why I love the show Alone on Netflix, because they only have, like, a very basic bow, and they get, like, 5 arrows or some shit. And then, they, like, other stuff, they have to set up traps. But I watched one where a guy killed a moose. He clipped it. He went, and it hit him in an artery, but the moose still lives for a while, so it ran away. And then he's, like, filming himself, and he's shaking, and he's just watching it for, like, 4 hours. And then finally it drops, and he filmed it, and he was like, oh, it just died. And then he went, and he ran towards it. I was like, that's nuts. We evolved? Bro, we didn't evolve from the time of bows to now. We just technologically evolved, right? Like, physically, we haven't.
For cutting.
Like, if you're trying to get back to, like, the roots of hunting, it's not with a gun.
Our ancestors, on the other hand, lived across open, rocky savannas that often had sources of quality stone.
I don't believe in evolution. I respect your belief. I think that's a pretty rough take.
But just because chimpanzees don't have access to the right raw materials...
Really rough take, in my opinion.
...for napping stone, doesn't mean they lack the intelligence to understand it. So researchers had a bold idea. What if we simply taught a chimpanzee how to flint nap? Meet Kanzi, a language competent bonobo, who was taught to flint nap in the early 1990s.
Wow, y'all did him dirty with that first picture. He looks so much better there. My God.
A language competent bonobo, who was taught to flint nap in the early 1990s. Bonobos are a closely related cousin of chimpanzees, often seen as more socially intelligent. Kanzi was especially intelligent. He even learned how to...
Oh, I remember Kanzi. Burrito.
play Minecraft. But it was this video of him flint napping that honestly blew my mind. They first focused on showing him how to knock off flakes through percussion, which is what I'm doing here. You literally hit one rock against another rock in order to knock off a stone flake. So now let's watch some incredible close-up footage of Kanzi napping.
Oh, look there what Kanzi made. That's really perfect. Oh, look at that one. Oh, thank you. They would really cut things good.
Kanzi was able to knock off flakes consistently, and after a while, he even came up with his own methods of flint napping. Instead of using the hammerstone in his hand, he started throwing it at the core. This may have helped him overcome challenges unique to the hands of chimpanzees, or to protect his fingers. But how fascinating is it that he invented a new flint napping technique? After 2 years of practice, researchers decided it was finally time to put his skills to the test. They gave him an unmodified core of flint and a hammerstone. Nearby was a clear box with fruit inside. It was held shut by a thick nylon cord. In order to get to his reward, he would have to hit off a large sharp flake to cut through the cord. During the trial, knocking off flakes was not a problem for the trained bonobo. However, some of these flakes were too small, so he would try again. He would select the largest flakes and assess their sharpness by looking at the edge and testing it on his tongue. Eventually, he knocked off a large flake and was able to cut open the box. This process was repeated 11 times, producing an abundance of data and artifacts.
For a banana.
Now here's where it gets really interesting. When researchers analyzed the bonobo-made artifacts, they found something remarkable. Many of them were virtually indistinguishable from the tools that our ancestors made 2 million years ago. The flakes had striking platforms, bulbs of percussion, and sharp usable edges. The ones he decided to use were the largest and sharpest tools. His method of assessing the sharpness with his tongue may have been the same way our ancestors assessed sharpness, but there were differences too. Our ancestors usually knocked off flakes at around 80 degrees to consistently produce long flakes. Kanzi's flakes averaged nearly 90 degrees, essentially right angles. This is the maximum angle at which these materials will fracture at all. This tells us that Kanzi did not have quite as complex an understanding of flint knapping as our ancestors did 2 million years ago, and this may also be due to chimpanzee hands not being as dexterous as ours. Our lineage has been knapping stone for well over—
What does a shaved chimp look like? Huge nuts. Wow. I can't show that image. I mean, dude has a bowling ball for a nutsack. Wow. Can I show that? I'm not going to show that. He kind of just looks like an old man. If I scroll, chat, the rest of the image is just straight ball sack.
over 2 million years. Modern human hands are quite literally evolved to knap stone. It was only in the past 5,000 years or so that most of us stopped. Kanzi's flint knapping was impressive, but it was notably worse than, say, Homo erectus.
Somebody said Joe's jealous. Nah, that shit would be hard to walk, bro.
Either way, it gives us a window into what the earliest sharp stone tools would have looked like. Our minds were already capable of understanding how to create sharp stone edges, and our dexterous hands came later. In another study conducted 14 years later, Kanzi had clearly become more adept at making and using stone tools. Kanzi and another bonobo used stone to break into logs and dig, both getting a reward if successful. Kanzi used flakes like a drill, rotating them to bore deeper into the log. He used larger flakes as wedges to pry into the logs and even used them to chop. In another part of the experiment, he used flakes as shovels to dig into tough sediment to retrieve food. It's interesting to note that Kanzi was far more successful than the other less trained bonobo, indicating that his training really did pay off and allowed him to access these resources. Kanzi lived on—
I wish they would test to see if he would pass it on to a future generation, because that's one of the biggest things that we've done as a species that has enabled us to progress, is our capability to pass down knowledge, because then you're giving your— that's why, like, humanity as a whole is supposed to get better and better through each generation, because the starting point of, like, lack of knowledge, rather, is supposed to be earlier and earlier, right? Like, you're supposed to be where your parents were at 25 when you're 20. And then they're supposed to be where you're at right now when they're, like, 18. And then you're supposed to get smarter and smarter. That's why it's like, you know, fucking juniors in high school, seniors in high school learn calculus. Calculus was, like, not something that the average person that was 17 knew 50 years ago.
On for about a decade doing all kinds of fun scientific studies before sadly passing away in March of 2025. These studies show that with human interaction or training, bonobos and chimpanzees can produce intentional stone tools, leaving wear patterns comparable to early human artifacts. Such tool production and utilization competencies are extremely similar to the competencies of early humans such as Homo habilis and Homo erectus. A 2021 study on untrained chimpanzees showed that they did not spontaneously create or use sharp flake stone tools, even when provided with materials.
Wow.
Suggesting extensive social learning or training is necessary for this behavior. We know that chimpanzees have to learn how to process nuts with stones and anvils from their relatives who teach them the technique. It's a cultural innovation. In order for wild chimpanzees to start flaking their own stone tools, they would have to have quality stone available to them, and importantly, a reason to create sharp tools. Without direct human intervention, this seems unlikely. But funny enough, capuchin monkeys in Brazil are accidentally achieving what we consider a human milestone. They use stone hammers to open fruits and nuts, but also for a far stranger reason. They smash rocks together to create dust which they then lick up. Scientists really have—
Oh my god, to get salt intake?
have no idea why they do this. Maybe it's to help them get some minerals into their diet. Regardless of why they do it,
Minerals?
they happen to create stone flakes that are virtually identical to early human tools in Africa. These stone flakes have been found in Brazil in layers dating back over 50,000 years ago. At first, it was thought that humans were in the region
Yeah, like iron.
in tens of thousands of years before we thought,
What other minerals would you get from a rock?
but it now seems it was actually capuchin monkeys leaving a seemingly human signature. So ironically, capuchin monkeys have unintentionally entered the Stone Age before our closest relatives.
How would they know? Well, it's not that they would know. It's that, like, if they licked up, like, rock dust one time, they probably felt better. Like, it's like, if you lick a salt rock, you're like, oh, that tastes good. Like, your body still knows what's good and what's bad. That's why poop's disgusting to you. Because we know poop is deadly for us, right? Potentially harming bacteria, and it's a biohazard. But poop smells like shit. Well, poop is shit. But poop smells bad because you're genetically not meant to have that. But for other animals that like poop probably smells fucking great, you know? Like, if you're like a dung beetle, you probably smell shit and you fucking start getting, all jazzed up.
So are chimpanzees in the Stone Age? Kind of, but not really. They've been hunting with spears and cracking nuts with stone hammers for thousands of years. And Kanzi proved that bonobos can flint-knap when taught. Yet wild individuals
My dog eats their poop. There are dogs that do that.
have never made a
You
cutting
should try and stop your dog from doing that.
tool on their own, at least as far as we know. Not because they lack the cognitive capacity, but because they lack the necessity. The story of our own species likely mirrors this pattern. We exploited carcasses with sharp stone tools to get access to an entirely new food source. During severe droughts or food scarcity, tool-using apes had a much better chance at surviving.
Okay, that is a terrifying image.
This feedback loop favored an increasing reliance on tools, and fundamentally shaped what we became. Tool use likely became non-negotiable for our survival. Chimpanzees do not face these same circumstances. They simply need a reason, and let's hope they never get one. Well, that was a fun one. I still can't believe these videos of
I am not worried about chimpanzees uprising and taking over the world.
chimpanzees flint-napping. I legitimately know humans who are worse at flint-napping. What topic should I cover next? Comment down below, hit that like button.
Dude, I loved that video. That was fucking awesome. Chimpanzees gonna de-evolve when they learn about taxes. Yeah, what level of consciousness do we start taking their income? All right, count me down. I gotta piss again. Sorry. Okay. Hold up. We have 2 more videos. I don't know if we should... we should have time. Should we watch one different one that's shorter than this 30-minute Taxi Mafia video? Because then we might not have time for what happens when you die. Win, thank you for the 3. I have a playoff basketball game tonight. I have to go to View, Craig Christian, Iowa. A bunch of D1 players like a Braden Hobbin. What is your... I'm not looking them up. I'm sorry. Who is your favorite NFL team? The Eagles. Desario and Breeze, thank you for the sub. Which, thank you for the 3. Nice rest of your day. 5'7", 130 pounds. Do you think I could win a bear 1v1 against an adult chimpanzee? No, it would maul you. You would die in 30 seconds. Habibi, Cool, Shift, Steven, and Shadow for the sub bros. Thank you for the 3. But Abe's Red of 17 recently diagnosed with acute myeloid leukemia. I have cancer in the chat. I'm sorry to hear that. I also need a bone marrow transplant to survive. I was wondering if you could do a charity stream to spread awareness for me and others with this cancer. 100%. I mean, I do a lot of broad cancer charity streams in general. Like I'm doing F cancer in March. But I have done like leukemia charities in the past. I've done breast cancer charities. I've done, I think, prostate cancer charities as well. So I'm down. I would just have to look for what charity. But I'm sorry you're dealing with that. And I wish you the best on your treatment. Cook and Ange, thank you for the sub t-shirt. Thank you for the 3. If the blankie balls are as big as a bowling ball, how do they not drag on the ground? Gaming and feed for the sub. Moon and Cal, thank you for the sub. SJ, thank you for the 3. Roller Canada, where you hunt alone with an over service with a ball action rifle knife is scary. MDR, thank you for the 3. No, I get that. Helping me cope with mental health issues. I want to say thank you for being great. Whole fan base love the UK. Thank you, and I hope you're all right. Ben, thank you for the 3. Can you please shout out Bemowo? Not thank you for the sub. Nizo, thank you for the sub. Senor, thank you for the 3. Felt like Judd Biden. I already read that. Habibi for the sub. Reese for the sub. All right. I might do this South Africa Taxi Mafia video Sunday and pick a shorter video for right now. Okay. This is the one. What did somebody say? The Taxi Mafia video is hella interesting. But it's 31 minutes. So then we wouldn't have time to watch the other one. We're going to watch that one Sunday. We're going to watch that one Sunday. I'll replace it with a different one that's shorter. "15-year-old hops on steroids and lies about it." Or collectibles expert answers collectible questions. Okay, that poll is useless, mods. Brother put which, that video or this video? Okay, everybody's saying one. We'll do that one.
2024, Joe Biden.
All right, lock in. Kakash for the sub. Igul and Rorona, thank you for the sub. Reacts today. Tomorrow, High on Life at like 1:32 EST. Maybe some random shit after. Sunday is going to be reacts at 2. Maybe 1. Monday, I'm going to be live doing the S&P and then shit with Adapt. Tuesday, not live. Wednesday, AHA charity stream for American Heart Association. That'll be the whole stream. Thursday, not live. Friday is either going to be Resident Evil Requiem or finishing High on Life 2. Saturday reacts and random games next week. Next Sunday reacts, and then we'll go from there. Probably doing Resident Evil that Monday as well. All right. Lock in. 15-year-old hops on steroids and lies about it.
July 2024, Joe Biden steps out of the US presidential race, leaving Kamala Harris as the presumptive candidate. Donald J. Trump survives an attempt.
Bro, you remember when we watched that debate on stream? That show was nuts. Those were fun streams, though. Watching those debates. Oh, my God. That was... How long... When were those debates? That was over a year ago. But by how much? When was the Biden-Trump debate? That was in, like... That was June of 24. So that was almost 2 years ago. Wow.
on his life at one of his rallies. Greg Doucette uploads a natty or not on Hussein Farhad, deeming it impossible for him to be natural, but which one singular blood test convinced him of the impossible. And 13-year-old Eric English posts a picture on Instagram looking like this. And just a little over 1 year later, this is what he looks like. The kid is on steroids.
See, here's the problem, is steroids is easy to spot with older people. Like, if I jumped on gear, you would know. Like, I would immediately gain an absurd amount of weight. But when you're like 13 to 16, you could gain like 30 pounds in a year pretty quickly. Like, when I was a freshman, I started the year at like 125, 130, ended the year at like 165. Like, you can gain weight quick. He benches 405. Okay, he's on steroids. Never mind.
But let's be real here.
Never mind.
Okay, anyone with 2 brain cells to rub
Thank you, Sketty, for the accurate info input.
together saw this coming from a mile away. The kid practically got groomed by the industry into becoming a little SARM goblin.
Well, it's also just like the problem with fitness influencers in general is the bigger you are, the better you do. And so there's like a financial incentive to just get on gear because your posts are going to do better. You're going to get more likes. You're going to have more sponsors, right? Like, if you're trying to get, you know, all these energy drink companies and, you know, Gymshark, Young LA, all these clothing brands, they want, what is gear? Gear is like an all-encompassing term for like SARMs, Tren, just any steroid in general that would be illegal in an a tested bodybuilding like competition. HGH is HGH gear? No. I don't know if you're allowed to do HGH in an open or a tested bodybuilding league though. But HGH you could buy at GNC. I don't know. I don't know the rules on that. But nobody would really say you're on gear if you're on HGH. Somebody's saying you're on gear if you're on like SARMs or more.
Between Larry Wheels asking Eric when he plans on hopping on steroids as if that's a normal question to ask a 14-year-old.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That's the mindset I had.
Young LA just jumping at the opportunity to sponsor him and provide him with a direct
He has 1.5 million followers.
network of other teenagers on steroids. And then this monstrosity right here, this bloated, watery, juiced up 19-year-old mess, most likely directly influencing Eric.
No, you know who's the worst right now? Andrei Smayev. Andrei Smayev is, okay, he's not a teenager, so I know this is on the topic of like teens doing steroids. Andrei Smayev is taking so many fucking... If you're not in the influencer space or the fitness space, you wouldn't know who Smayev is. This guy's 27. This guy is 3 years older than me.
Okay, perfect.
Look at him. Like, the amount of gear this guy is on is... And look at his fucking hand, man. Oh my God, I gotta mute that. Look at his fucking biceps, dude. I mean, he looks 45. Like, it's unreal that the amount of muscle that guy's gained in like 5 years.
Eric to hop on gear, it becomes very clear that he stood absolutely no chance from the beginning. The kid got absolutely one-shotted by the shitness industry. But let's recap everything from the start. I actually remember Eric coming across my Instagram feed about 2 years ago as a 13-year-old kid getting into fitness. He blew up pretty much...
The problem, too, is people are going to fucking shit on you. Like, I don't think it's just the fitness influencers that were around him that might have been influencing him to get on gear. But it's also just like... If you're going to openly post your gym progress on Instagram, the amount of chuds that are going to fucking shit on you is insane. The amount of people that are going to be like, you're fucking... It's like not even the black pill community. It's just a bunch of like gym heads that are just dickheads because they want to put other people down and make themselves seem like bigger in their own mind. So if you're like, hey, I'm just starting to work out, they're going to be like, yeah, buddy, you have no potential. I could tell by your structure you're not going to be able to put on muscle.
overnight because it's not.
Why do steroids make you look older? You lose your hair, you get acne, you're just gonna age a bit more.
Often that you see a little kid hitting lat spreads and stomach vacuums, and credit where credit's due, okay? The kid looked amazing for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, he's got a lot of muscle.
Please don't clip that out of context. Okay, I promise I'm not in any Jeff Nipstein flight logs. But it's true, right? Look at his physique, right? Look at the biceps, look at the serratus, look at the vacuum pose. I mean, keep in mind, this kid is 13 years old. Okay, I would have killed to look like this at 13. I mean, come on.
1.7 million likes is nuts.
Million likes? And so, as expected,
he looks starved. He was doing a vacuum, which is when you, like, suck in, like, you're like... I can't even... Oh, my God, that just made me cramp. Oh. Fuck. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Hold up. I can't even do a vacuum like that. That hurt. Minus aura. Yeah, out of my prime.
The usual suspect.
Getting a bit old? No, I just don't do fucking vacuums. I was supposed to go to the gym today, and I didn't, though. I think I am starting to get smaller. I don't have the abs like Clav.
Would be flocking to sponsor this kid, the main one being Young LA, and it makes sense from a business perspective.
I worked with Young LA for like 4 months. I don't think they really got many returns on my code though, so.
Right, Eric has
didn't really continue from there.
A lot of eyes on it. Whether it's okay from an ethical standpoint, though, we'll get into later. But so he gets sponsored by Young LA fairly early on the 23rd of November 2023. This post by Rising Lifters reads, "This is crazy. 13-year-old Eric English has become the youngest ever Young LA athlete."
See, here's the thing though, is like Young LA isn't Young LA has a weird most energy drink brands like Gorilla Mind or Young LA or like any of those companies. They're not guaranteed giving you a salary. Like, some of it might just flat out be like an affiliate code, but the affiliate code is only given to a set amount of people. Does that make sense? Where, like, Young LA does have people on salary. Like, some of their what is Young LA? Thought Young LA was close. It is. Young LA is a fitness brand, like Gymshark. I'm just talking about, like, broad fitness sponsors in general. Like, just because you have a code doesn't mean that you didn't get paid. It doesn't mean that you're getting paid monthly. A lot of the time it does. I'm assuming for somebody at his size, in terms of followers, he was probably getting like, maybe like $5K a month or something like that, on top of whatever like affiliate code they were giving him.
He's documenting his incredible,
maybe more actually. He was getting 1 million likes a post. He was probably getting paid more.
Incredible fitness journey.
It's amazing for 13. Yeah, but the other problem is like when you're that young in the space, you're just gonna get conned, bro. They're gonna lowball the fuck out of you. If you don't have a management agency and this 13-year-old is negotiating with a company, they're just gonna pay him shit.
Has amassed over 800,000 followers on Instagram, attracting the big.
I'm not saying Young LA is. I don't think they would. Young LA, when I worked with them, was a pretty decent company, but I don't know what type of deal he would have gotten.
Biggest brands in the industry. Now, due to the sponsorship, he of course immediately.
How does somebody that young get roids? That guy right behind him? Any gym influencer? If you were like really into lifting and you're like when I was 15 going to the gym, I could have just asked around and somebody would have gotten me roids at some point. Because you got to keep in mind, these kids aren't going to Planet Fitness, right? Like, they're not working out at some fucking chain gym. They're working out at like not a 24-hour. They're working out at like a 6 a.m. to like 8 p.m. gym, just full of like meatheads. Like, there's like, half the guys are on roids.
Starts collabing with big roided up names in the industry, like Eric Janicki, for example, from HTLT Supplements. He's now fully entered the fitness industrial complex, and there's no way back for him. June 6, 2024, a video of him posing gets 271,000 likes. 1 day later, June 7th, 2024, he already starts making steroid jokes. August 15th, 2024, he goes to a Young LA event and gets to meet some incredible influences, like self-proclaimed steroid, gambling, and drug addict Togi. 10 days later, he posts a video of him posing alongside Noel Dizel, and you can tell that Eric is slowly but surely packing on size. Very, very impressive for a 14-year-old. September 18th, 2024, Eric appears to have started a pretty significant bulk and is looking a lot fluffier. He's now wanting to put on as much size as possible. October.
He still doesn't look like he's on steroids, though. Like, the problem with telling, like, if this kid's on steroids is really just, like, what he's lifting. Like, I know I was like, oh, when he's benching 4 or 5, I'm like, this kid's on roids. Just because he looks like the person that has a build that he could bench maybe like 225 if he was really lifting. Like, there were guys in my high school that were sophomores benching 500, but they were also 320-pound linebackers, right? Like, they were 6'4" and 330. You know, this kid looks 5'7". Like, if you're like 5'7" and you're benching 405, you're like one of the strongest people in your age range ever.
October 12th, 2024, Eric goes to the Olympics.
For how big you are.
And gets to meet influencers like Larry Wheels, infamous fake natty Tristan Lee, and Nick the Mutant Walker.
Dude, I remember being so jealous of Tristan, because I think Tristan Lee is around my age. I remember being so jealous of Tristan Lee when I was younger. Yeah, Tristan Lee's my age. I remember being so jealous of him, and I was like, it's because he's short. That's why he looks so good. That's why he has a six-pack. Who's Tristan Lee? Some fitness influencer.
2nd of January 2025, his infamous collab with Larry Wheels. We'll circle back to this in a bit. So at this point, start of 2025, this is what Eric now looks like. Very impressive physique. He actually has a good amount of muscle on his frame. He also still appears to be natural here. His progress up until this point seems to be indicative of a young kid that has just recently started puberty and has a passion for working out. But only 6 months later, his comment section on Instagram would blow up with people spamming needle emojis and accusing him of being on steroids. And once you see his 8-month transformation, it all starts to make sense why.
6 months?
I mean, come on. It looks
I don't know, bro. There were guys in my high school that were that big. There were, like, I mean, some of my chatters, I know the transformation's nuts, but, like, he's not shredded like that. Like, this guy probably is, like, 18% body fat. Like, that's not that unreasonable. You're going through puberty, you're lifting all the time, and he's probably eating a shitload, and he's hanging out with influencers, and he has a reason to just constantly lift. I don't want to be, like, playing devil's advocate here, but I used to watch Doucette's Natty or Not videos. I used to watch, like, all the shit about David Lade. And, like, a lot of those guys, yeah, were on fucking roids. But, like, some of the time, it would just be like, yeah, he's on roids, look at him. I'm like, you can't just say, look at him, he's on roids. Like, yeah, a big thing that people point towards steroids is, like, your shoulders. Because your shoulders gain a lot of muscles when you're on steroids because there's some, like, receptors there or some shit. I don't know the science about it. His shoulders aren't that big.
like the guy on the left ate the guy on the right. You know how people usually tell you to trust the process when it comes to working out? This kid has skipped the process entirely. This is an insane 6-month transformation. I mean, Eric practically had the entire fitness industry shocked, and understandably so, right? One moment he looks like a freshman, 6 months later he looks like he's repeating senior year for the 5th time. I mean, he must have somehow been able to get his hands on Hussein Farhat's elusive broomstick and ladder workout routine. That's the only way I can make sense of this insane transformation. Genuinely, this is, shout out to this girl, by the way. Let me just make sure my ass cheeks are front and center while I take a picture with a 15-year-old. Who is this girl? What a surprise. An entire page full of gym cell gooner bait. If you actively consume this type of content, you're what's wrong with the fitness industry, okay? Just fully contributing towards the degeneration of this industry. Some of you need to be ashamed of yourselves, okay? Genuinely, do better. 1 million likes on this reel. The top comment has over 120,000 likes. I missed
a couple chapters. Cut's going to be crazy.
A couple of chapters. Look, let's click on a random post, right? This one is from April.
Yo, somebody said song name. On God, though. Side note, that's facts. Any gym influencer somehow has, like, the most niche funk fucking edit music. Bro, like, you'll just be like, it'll just be like a random, like, video of them doing curls, and it'll just be this playing. And you're like, You're like, what song is that?
Just a couple of chapters. Look, let's click on a random post, right? This one is from April 2025. And this is what he looks like. And then let's just scroll up a couple of times. This is 4 months
Wait, how much does he weigh?
later. Times.
225 at 5'11". Yeah. And it's like, it's not like a fat 225. Like the guys in my high school that were benching 405 when they were like sophomores were like 6'2", 340, but they were like big.
This is 4 months later. A completely different person. Look at the top comment. Every single time he posts, he grows twice in size, 20,000 likes. And of course, his strength just inexplicably skyrockets as well. Here he says that he could bench 315 pounds for multiple reps only a week after benching for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this kid's 15 and he's 3 inches shorter than me, but 40 pounds heavier.
And that's 140 kilograms, right?
All right, now I'm starting to see the steroids.
Totally normal. And then of course, only 2 months later,
holy shit! So, putting 4 plates on each side. My God.
He's hitting 405 pounds on the bench press. That's 180 kilograms.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, come on. To put that into perspective, it can take natural lifters with decent genetics and dedicated bench programming up to a decade.
Yeah, like right now, I like half-ass my lifting. If I really just locked in at the gym, really only spent every day working out. Right now, my max is probably around 270. I think in 6 months, I could bench 270 to maybe 340, but I'm also 24. Like, that's a crazy increase.
To hit 4 plates on the bench.
340. I think if 340 is crazy, sketty. I know that I'm very self-absorbed in this sense, but hear me out. If I dropped everything that I was doing and I just worked out all the time and I only cared about working out and weightlifting and powerlifting, I think I could bench 340 in 6 months. Do it then? No, because I would have to spend fucking 3 hours a day at the gym and I would have to focus on everything that I'd eat. I would also bulk like crazy. That's how I would do it. I would gain 30 pounds and then I would put 60 on the bench. That's what I do. I barely bench at 350. I barely hit 315. Sketty, you work out all the time. I feel like you're like a meathead. I think that I'm not trying to sit here and be like, if I locked in, I could bench a lot. When I was a sophomore, I could squat 315 ass to grass for 10 reps. And I was 165. Like, I think if I actually fucking like just locked in, I could do like 320.
Some
maybe not 340. I think I'd do 320 in 6 months, but I would gain 25 pounds. I'd be like 205.
Even never be able to. And Eric does it at age 15 after only 2 months of benching. Right? That's it.
That's not that hard. I'm not saying it's that hard. I'm not bragging. See, here's that one chat. That's not that hard. I'm actually 16 and I fucking squat 485. Meanwhile, you hit a fucking 30-degree squat and then fucking just stand back up.
The industry's leading authority on natty or nots. I feel like I've seen more than enough to pass a verdict here. I've reviewed the evidence. I've consulted the comments.
Heaviest you've ever been, 185. Right now, I'm probably like 178.
Section. I have stared at pictures.
This is making me want to lock in. This chat doubting me right now is actually like pissing me off. I'm so serious. I'm so dead ass. Now I really want to. But I get up too late, bro. I'm a bum. I play video games till 3 a.m. and then I fucking wake up at like 10:30.
of a shirtless 13-year-old for much longer than I'm comfortable admitting. I mean, seriously, I was doing research for this video and writing this script in a coffee shop.
I would love to be 200 pounds, but like a good actually, no, like 195. Not in the twos. I would love to be like a 190 to 195. Just in shape, though.
There were people sitting behind.
Let me train you. I'll get you to 225. Brother, I would have to gain 45 pounds. I would be fat. If I gained 45 pounds in 6 months, I would look horrible.
Do you know how weird I felt? It took me like 10 minutes to realize working on this video in public wasn't my brightest idea and packed my bags to go home. Anywho.
Hop on gear. Now you're talking. Nope, don't do that. Don't do steroids.
I'm digressing. By the power vested in me by absolutely no one, I officially ruled this kid a fake natty. Now, as I said at the start of the video, the writing was already on the walls years ago. Of course, any teenager that suddenly finds social media fame for their physique is going to be at an increased risk of hopping on PEDs due to industry pressure. We've seen this happen countless of times. But what sealed the deal for me, what made me confident that it was only going to be a matter of time before Eric would start sipping on the forbidden Capri Sun, was that Young LA sponsorship. And this speaks to a much bigger problem within the industry, especially regarding Young LA. You see, Young LA, more so I feel like than most of their competitors, seem to be really focused on capturing as much of that teenage lifter market share as possible. And there's inherently nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with catering towards this age group. Teenage lifters.
Well, yeah, teenage lifters is going to be the highest growing market, and it's your biggest competitor is Gymshark. I mean, Gymshark did this years ago, though. Like, for those of you that remember, Young LA 10 years ago, I don't know if it was a thing, but like, when I was 15, my version of Young LA was Gymshark. Gymshark was the gym brand.
Especially
that was what everybody wanted to wear. It was like they had the coolest stringers and like pants, shorts.
Online make up a really big part of this industry. A lot of people, including myself, got into lifting as teenagers. No, the problem lies when you then cede all responsibility in favor of increasing numbers and virality as much as possible, which has led Young LA to repeatedly sponsor some of the most egregious teenage PED cases in the industry. For example, do you guys remember this kid, Logan Dishman, that 17-year-old Young LA athlete who claimed he was natty while benching nearly 1,000 pounds, but then exposed himself.
I mean, okay, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to rule check you right now, but butts off the bench here, pal.
1,000 pounds.
Butts off the bench here, pal. That's not a real 900-pound lift.
But then exposed himself.
If I put my butt off the bench, I could, no.
When he got hospitalized for using a dirty steroid needle.
Oh my god.
And his heart stopped beating while in the ER, causing him to go on life support. Well, he's still sponsored by Young LA. They didn't issue a single statement, didn't disavow the abuse of PEDs amongst minors. Instead, they kept him on and continued inviting him to their events. They made it very clear that the only thing they care about is how many eyeballs these kids can bring to their brand, which is already bad enough on its own. But then they take someone like Eric English, a young, impressionable 14-year-old, and they fly him out to those same events so he can intermingle with those older teenagers who are openly abusing performance-enhancing drugs, teenagers who Young LA are directly enabling. Do we really think these dudes are not going to rub off on a 14-year-old? And yet this guy, Logan Dishman, does not even appear to be the main influence in Eric's decision to hop on PEDs. No. That honor belongs to another teenager, also sponsored by Young LA, also seemingly introduced to Eric through a Young LA event, who also appears to be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at himself when it comes to PEDs. Meet Gentile Lifts. Probably the most obnoxious fitness influencer you'll see in a very long time. He got his break on the internet by injecting himself with copious amounts of steroids and creating what can only be described as some kind of weird, niche fetish content. No. I'm not joking, okay? How else are you gonna describe this?
This back exercise is gonna make you squeal like a pig.
What the fuck?
Exercise is gonna make you squeal like a pig.
Oink, oink, don't be a little pig. Let's go hit some heavy hammer curls.
70 pounds, she couldn't make it 2 rounds. I bent over like she was last night. She was the opposite of tight. The 115 flew faster than her cream. Back exercise that will make you scream like a monkey. Make sure to get your potassium in.
Yeah, seems like a normal, well-adjusted fella.
Why are people like, but like that has to be like rage bait content.
To me, you'd think surely nobody actually watches this shit, right? Like, it has to be contained to some weird fringe subgroup of gym cells. Nope. 164,000 likes. The irreparable damage Shizzy has done to the fitness industry truly needs to be studied.
Scary 1,000-pound front squats.
Okay, no, that's kind of funny though. Like him starting out the video wearing a mask, just red in the face, flexing, screaming in the mic.
Just a regular healthy 07 kid. So we first see Eric and Gentile meeting up way before he made his insane transformation and before he even started bulking for the first time. This video right here is from August 2024. As expected, they met up at a young LA gym, as you can see in the background. They seemingly didn't collab again until right around Eric made his suspicious transformation. But ever since that transformation, it's as if every other reel this guy posts includes Eric in some way, shape, or form. They've gotten very chummy with each other. So right as Eric makes a highly suspicious transformation, he starts hanging out with a teenager that very obviously abuses PEDs. It's not very difficult to see what most likely happened here.
Watch the bulk get us massive.
Well, the scariest part is like this is gonna fuck up their hormones. Like if they ever get off gear, and they've been on gear since they were like 15, they're gonna have to be on basically hormone replacement therapy for the rest of their life. Like they're not, yeah, you're not gonna naturally create testosterone as a male if you're on steroids, like say 14 to 28, and he gets off when he's like 29. Like he's gonna be on test, not like steroid test, but he's gonna be on test for the rest of his life.
Sure to eat.
Just why? Why would you want to look like this?
Unless you're sketty, of course. Yeah, unless you're sketty, because your mind and your body are a temple.
Dad Eric is bulking with the intention to cut, but this guy Gentile has looked like this for years. Just grotesque. And that steroid moon face is not doing Eric any favors. Even though he's a handsome young man, all that water weight and redness has him looking like... Okay, I'm not gonna say that. That's mean. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Looking like John Pork.
The bulk is real. He went from, hello, my name is Eric English, to, I'm Eric. Give me another burger. He added over 100 pounds to his bench in just 4 months.
Okay, yeah, 100 pounds to a bench in 4 months is nuts.
Because of the bulk.
POV, you showed your boy
100 pounds at the bench in 4 months. And that's starting at 305 to 405. And y'all are saying I'm crazy. Well, he's also on steroids. But I'm saying I would go from like 270 to 340, which would be a 70 increase.
how to bulk. This being obvious code for you showed your boy how to run a cycle. Okay, this is this guy's entire thing. Gentile's entire brand is just rage baiting everybody by consistently claiming he's natural
Are they just
to
gonna
farming.
find my TikTok and we're gonna feel embarrassed? What's your TikTok? Sketty lifts, probably. No, that's Scotty lifts. Sketty lifts. Dre lifts weights. Is your name Dre? Where's King Mauger?
This is how my mama.
Oh yeah, this is Sketty. Low genuinely a smooth 3 seconds away from blasting gear, getting famous, and claiming natty / vegan. I think that's the move. You'd be like the new David Lade. You'd be like, oh, no, I'm not on gear.
engagement. And this is just another instance of that, passing off Eric's obvious PED use as quote-unquote just a bulk. Take a look at this comment I found in a Reddit thread about gentile lifts. I couldn't directly verify these claims myself, so do take them with a pinch of salt, but nonetheless I figured they were worth mentioning. This commenter basically wrote that Gentile got exposed with some other guys, including Logan Dishman, for being in a quote-unquote we are kids and take PEDs group. He then also claims that there was early footage of Gentile in 2023 that was leaked where he said that he had been on a cycle for a while and that he was gonna claim Natty for jokes and sponsors. I gotta say, it does all sound very in character for these two meatheads. These are the influences in Eric's life. This is why I say that it should have come to no surprise to anyone that was paying attention that Eric would eventually hop on PEDs. This is what Young LA is
But I just don't understand the reason to lie about being on steroids, because the majority of these brands will still sponsor you if you're on steroids. They don't care, right? Like if you're a gymfluencer and you're on roids, like you are, that doesn't mean you're not going to get sponsored by fucking protein companies and shit like that. They don't give a fuck, right? Because they still sponsor open bodybuilders. They sponsor IFBB pros, and IFBB pros are all on roids. It's just, maybe they don't talk about it, but it's like, he's a child. Yeah, but I'm saying the guys that are like 19, 20. Why are they saying it has to be just for clicks. I'm not talking about Eric right now. I'm talking about these guys that are like 19, 20, 25. Like, why are they saying they're not on roids? Just say you're on roids. Who cares, right? Like Noel Diesel, I follow him, or Diesel, however you say his name. He's on roids. He says he's on roids, right? And which I respect. Like, if you're I don't care if you're a gymfluencer on roids, just say you're on steroids, right? In this case, I don't think this kid should be taking steroids because he's fucking 15 and it's gonna ruin his body. But
okay, it should speak to how cooked this industry is.
And then you get worried, man. Like, dude, like then you get into the fear that these guys will die when they're like 30.
Can't even expect the
amount of gym influencers that have heart attacks when they're young.
Bare minimum level of responsibility from one of the largest brands in the space. You know, it's not like we're asking them to build schools in Africa or send humanitarian aid to war zones. Just maybe don't enable steroid use amongst minors. You know, maybe don't sponsor and promote 17-year-olds that take steroids, lie about it, and then get hospitalized due to them. Maybe don't introduce impressionable 14-year-olds to a climate riddled with PED use. Corrupting the youth just to sell a couple of extra t-shirts is truly an interesting business model, I gotta say.
The devil's advocate response here is they're gonna do it either way, because they look up to these guys, even if you're not putting them on in a physical sense where like Eric's gonna meet the Trend twins, he's still gonna watch them. And so they're still just going to take the steroid.
But hey, Batman merch, right everyone? I get to feel like Bruce Wayne on my Demon Winter arc, fueled by weird cuck fantasies. And to be truthful, as much as I like to point a finger at Young LA, they are simply
Noel's on the boat with them? Yeah, because Noel's a Young LA influencer.
A symptom of a much broader problem. The reason why they enable this stuff is because there's no downside for them in doing so. Because teenage PED use as a whole...
And I don't think, for the people that he's like, oh, Noel's on the boat with them, Noel doesn't promote steroid usage to Eric. I guarantee you he doesn't. Because he openly says on his videos, like, I'm on steroids. That doesn't mean you should take them.
Has just become way too normalized in this industry. It's why Larry Wheels asks a 14-year-old if he has any plans of hopping on steroids in the future, as if that's a normal thing to do, and why he receives almost no backlash for doing so.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That's the mindset I had.
That's the mindset I had. Larry Wheels is so dumb, bro. Like, I genuinely think he's, like, a good, well-meaning guy, but he just doesn't think stuff through.
Yeah, I don't think, like, Larry Wheels meant bad when he said that, but it's, like, from the outside perspective, it's, like, you're kind of, like, low-key convincing this kid to take steroids. But from Larry's perspective, he's just like, oh, well, I was on steroids when I was 17.
This particular case to be exceptionally unfortunate because he truly didn't have to hop on PEDs. There's a reason why Eric managed to grow his following to over 1.5 million followers without ever touching a needle. The kid was genuinely unique in that he started lifting and documenting his journey at such a young age, and that you could see him not only grow up but develop himself as a natural lifter from scratch. But now he's just become another fake natty. This is a great comment right here. What would little you think about you hopping on steroids? And Eric replies with, speaking out of ignorance. This guy comments a needle emoji. Eric replies with insecurity. So much potential. Yet in the end, he just became another gaslighting fake natty to add to the pile. Since I know you'll be watching this video.
Yeah, because it's always like they never just take a steroid test to be like, I'm not on roids. They're always just like, nah, I'm not on roids. Like, you could just like prove that. Take a drug test. Right. But Thor for the sub. That was a good video. I have no hate towards that kid. It's just like, don't, you know, like if he is on steroids, which, you know, most people's signs are pointing towards yes, it's like, it's more so the worry of like, hey man, that's like really bad for you. Like that could kill you. Stock and Revs, thank you for the subs. Sketty for the 3. Thanks for the shout. Brother Steve for 1,000 DMs in a second. I was Bullet Biz and Black, thank you for the sub. Banana Baby for the sub. Phoenix, thank you for the 3. Phoenix for the sub. Jay for the sub. Wygout, thank you for the 3. Killer Bob Van and Jax, thank you for the sub. Sketty for the 3. Proceed that he's not natural. I'm not. He stayed natty the whole time, and this time jumped strength and size unachievable way. Natural the time he did it. Fear, thank you for the 5. Gift of Scream for the sub. Lachlan, thank you for the 3. Hope you have a good day. Thank you. Runner and Polarity for the sub. Alex, Meek, Blake, Ninja, and Tronky for the sub. Rose, thank you for the 3. How could I get in contact with you to organize something in the future? You wouldn't be able to. Thanks for the kind words to get direct in contact with you. I mean, you could mess by mods, but Roar, thank you for the sub. D and Jackson for the sub. Cool enough for the sub. Coolness area for the sub. Wolves, thank you for the 3. Or Win, thank you for the 3. I go to Grant. I already with that. Thor, thank you for the sub. I'm sorry, chat. I know I pissed 4 times this stream. I gotta piss again. Then we're gonna watch this last video. Count me down. All right. Oh, is there no song playing? Jay for the sub. Lazy, thank you for the 3. Recommend watching Vinland Saga. Thomas, thank you for the 3. How do you stay stuck in hard times? IH, thank you for the sub. Crimson Kiki, thank you for the sub. Different for everybody, man. And I'm not stoic in every hard time. It's more so you just got to remind yourself that you can't control a lot of the things in your life. You know, you can worry about the things you can control. Don't worry about the things you can't. Post for the sub. IH for the sub. Taxic and Sep, thank you for the sub. All right, last video for the day, chat. Shorter stream of the day. That's why we're live early. Exclamation point schedule if you don't know the schedule. This is what happens when you die. Lock in.
So here's a question that literally every single one of us will eventually have an answer to. What really happens to your body when you die? And I'm not talking...
I don't think everybody will have an answer to that. Yeah, he's not talking about religiously or philosophically, but even on just a base biological sense, you're not going to know what happens to your body when you die. That's if you die in a peaceful way in a hospital bed on hospice. If you get hit by a car and your body gets eviscerated, you're not going to know. You're just going to, it's going to be lights out, right? Like if you get crushed, like for example, the people that died on that submarine, what was the name of that submarine? It was like 2 summers ago. They went down, they were going to go see the Titanic, Ocean Gate. The people that died on that Ocean Gate submarine don't even know that, well, I don't want to say they don't know that they're dead. If there's an afterlife, they know that they're dead. But they don't even know that they died. Or they didn't even know that they were going to die. Right? Like, the brain needs like a certain amount of milliseconds to process pain. They died so fast that it was like dead. Like they didn't feel anything. They were alive and then immediately died. But not died like their heart stopped. Like their body was separated into red mist.
Talking about the philosophical or spiritual aspect, though we will touch on some fascinating near-death experiences later. I'm talking about the actual anatomical and physiological cascade of events that occurs in your body during the process of dying.
And the craziest thing that I have heard, I don't know if it's true of every individual that's like slowly dying, but when you die of old age, one of the things that they say is, a sign for if you're dealing with somebody that's old is if they start talking to you about memories they've never brought up before. Like, my grandpa, before he died, started talking about one of his childhood dogs to my family. And it was like a memory he's never brought up before. It was a memory he said he'd never remembered until like recently. Like he hadn't mentioned it, thought about it in 30, 40 years, You start reaching back to like childhood memories when you're like 80, you're dying. Like that means you're close. And he died like a week later. Like, and then it's just like very weird. Like you get in this like trance-like state. When they say when you die, your like brainstem stays alive for like 5 or 10 minutes or something, you relive your life. That's why like your life flashes before your eyes. I don't know if that's fully true of everybody, but we'll see.
In the hours after death, because your body doesn't just turn off like flipping a light switch. There's a whole sequence of events that happens, some of which are extremely fascinating. So today, we're gonna cover these events, talk about what we do know, what we don't know, and as I already hinted, touch on some of the unexplainable events at the end. It's going to be a departed one. So let's jump into this anatomical and physiological awesomeness.
God, I feel like I'm watching a video for school.
So let's start with what happens in the moments leading up to death. Now, obviously, death can occur in many different ways. Cardiac arrest, trauma, illness, cancer, but regardless of the exact cause,
I think the best way to die is I'm 85, I'm walking, out of the bathroom, and we just got done a nice family dinner, everybody left, and I just go, and I die. No, I don't want to die in my sleep. I want to know I'm going, right? I want to consciously be like, this is it, right? Dying in my sleep sucks. I think dying in my sleep would be fire if you told me you're going to die tonight. Like, in your sleep, you're going to die tonight. Because I would be able to, like, come to terms with it. I think I need that 5-minute gap to be like, fuck, it's over. Like, I'm dying. Does that make sense? I don't want my family to worry. No, I'm not saying, like, I walk out to a family barbecue and just fucking collapse. I'm saying family barbecue, everybody goes home, and then I die. And it was like, oh, that was nice, Nice last day, fucking chilling. Then you go out in style. I think hospice is a pretty bad way to go. I mean, they do have you hyped up on drugs, but at that point, you don't even really know you're dying. Like, when you're on hospice and they're, like, filling you with morphine and shit, you're just, like, unconscious.
There's a common pathway the body follows once certain critical systems...
Want to die in a field watching the clouds? That's very specific, some Russian. My philosophy professor from Korea told me when he is dying, he's going to walk into the woods and lay by a tree. And he was dead serious. He said, I'm going to die in the woods. Like, and he was dead serious. He was like, I'm going to die in the woods and the animals are going to eat me.
Systems begin to fail. And so let's use...
I was like, respect it.
Cardiac arrest as the primary example, since it's one of the most studied scenarios. When your heart stops beating, blood is no longer being pumped throughout your body. Remember, blood is delivering oxygen and nutrients to all of your cells, particularly to that very demanding organ sitting inside your skull, the human brain. Within about 15 to 20 seconds of your heart stopping, you lose consciousness. This happens because your brain, which makes up only about 2% of your body weight, but uses roughly 20% of your oxygen supply, is immediately starved of that oxygenated blood. The neurons in your cerebral cortex, the outer portion of the brain responsible for consciousness, thought, and awareness, starts to shut down almost immediately. But here's where things get interesting. Even though you're unconscious and your heart is stopped, your brain does not instantly die. In fact, research shows that measurable brain activity can persist for a short period of time after the heart stops beating. Several studies have documented—
Bro, but like, you know how shitty that will be if like those, is it gonna be a cool memory and like something that's nice? Because like, what are the odds that like you have a heart attack, you're dying, your brain's starved of oxygen, and your brain's still functioning and showing like your conscious memories, and it's just like dog shit, you know, like fucking weird memories. You're like, why am I thinking about? And then you die. Like, I think back to, like, you know, fucking... People always joke, they'll be like, when I die, I'll see this. It'll be like OG Minecraft, Season 3 Fortnite. Like, what if I die and I'm, like, going back to my Concord sponsor, right? And I'm, like, 85, and I'm like, fuck, wow, I forgot about that game. And then I die.
Organized
and I'm not joking. Like, I know that was a joke to use, like, Concord as an example. But I'm saying, like, what if it's just, like, some stupid fucking memory? Like, I'm just, like, remembering me at, like, some random diner. I'm like, why do I care about this?
Electrical activity in the brain for minutes following cardiac arrest. In some cases, EEG recordings have shown brain waves continuing for up to 10 minutes, although this activity rapidly becomes weaker and more disorganized over time. A 2023 study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences observed a brief surge of gamma wave activity at the moment of death in a small number of patients after life support was withdrawn. Gamma waves are often associated with processes like memory retrieval, information integration, and conscious awareness. However, it's important to note, seeing gamma activity does not necessarily mean a person is consciously experiencing these events.
I just don't want it to be a scared death. You know, like, I think having a good emotion at the moment of your death is great, you know? Like, if I'm going to go out, or not if, when I go out, it would be awesome to be able to be happy in those last moments, you know? Or just, like, not upset. Like, that would suck if you're, like, dying and you're consciously aware that you're basically dead and you're, like, freaking out about it in your own brain. Like, that would suck. Because then it's like, oh, fuck, I'm dying, and then the lights go out. Like, obviously, you're not going to look back on it and be like, oh, that sucked, because you'll be fucking dead. But, like, it would be nice to go out with a bang than a fizzle.
Simply shows that certain neural networks can...
That's one thing. This is random side conversation. I know I joked about this, where my friend was, like, talking about how if there was, like, a terrorist on a plane, he would be like, I'm dying about it. And he was like, I'm going to run at them. And I think that carries through with anything where it's like, you know how in movies there's, like, somebody's pointing a gun to your head and you're, like, begging for your life and then they still shoot you? Like, what a shitty way to die. Like, I feel like it's better to be like, fuck you, and, like, attack. And then you die that way versus being, like, you know, just, like, pleading for your life and then getting shot. Like, that would suck.
Become briefly active during the dying process. But how is it possible for brain activity to continue at all after the heart stops? Well, one reason is that neurons don't run out of energy instantly.
What would you say is the worst death, like an awful scenario? Being in a coma that you're consciously aware of and then dying. Like, that's really fun. I think that's like, well, like, obviously you could say, like, being burned alive, right? Yeah, drowning. But I'm talking about, like, a conscious awareness of, like, you're in a coma and you can't move, but you're still aware. And it's, like, a prolonged coma.
Simultaneously. While neurons do not store energy in large reserves.
Hearing your family pull the plug on you? Well, that would never happen.
They do contain very small, rapidly turning over amounts of ATP.
Drowning's supposed to be very peaceful. I think that's freezing to death, not drowning.
Are already in use at the moment circulation stops. Neurons also contain a small amount of phosphocreatine, which can briefly buffer ATP levels for a few seconds when energy demand suddenly spikes. In addition, neurons can temporarily rely on anaerobic energy pathways, such as glycolysis, that do not require oxygen. Also, supporting cells in the brain called astrocytes store small amounts of glycogen, which can be broken down into lactate and shuttled into neurons as an emergency fuel source when blood flow is lost. However, all of these backup systems are extremely limited. Without oxygenated blood, mitochondrial ATP production rapidly collapses. Ion gradients across neuronal membranes fail, and normal electrical signals break down within minutes, which is why prolonged cardiac arrest leads to irreversible brain injury and death if blood flow and oxygen is not quickly restored. But these short-lived energy buffers may help explain why organized brain activity can briefly persist after the heart stops. And they may also contribute to some of the vivid experiences people report during near-death states, which again, we'll talk about in more detail later on. Now, while your brain is going through this process, the rest of your body cells
Why is there bodies in the background? This is a set. This is like a classroom. As you can see, there's chairs.
Also beginning to die, but at different rates. Your brain cells are kind of the divas of the human body. Neurons begin to suffer irreversible injury within about 4 to 6 minutes without oxygen, but other cells are more resilient. This is because many of these cells have larger
Well, I just find like neuroconnections fascinating. Like there's like electrical impulses in my brain that can formulate a visual image of a memory I had 15 years ago in my mind. Like I'm literally seeing myself use a green stretch band in preschool in my brain. Like, how the fuck is it holding that information for that period of time? I understand, like, yeah, the electrical connections and the neuroconnectivity in your brain and how brain memories are processed and stored. But, like, where is that memory getting stored for that period of time? And then what's even weirder is that you have a level of memory recall that you can't control and memory recall that you can, right? If somebody were to ask you, do you remember this? And you were like, oh yeah, and you could go through the memory and you could visualize it in your brain, and maybe it's like you in preschool going down a slide or something, you'd be like, the slide was yellow, I remember this, blah, blah, blah. But then there's memories that you don't recall, you can't recall, until something triggers a connection that's like a broken bridge that's restored, right? Like you hear a song that you haven't heard in 10 years, and then randomly that sparks a memory of something that you haven't thought of in a decade and otherwise would seemingly be lost forever, right? Like if say I'm like, you know, just going through my day and I hear a song, I'm like, wow, that brings back a memory I haven't thought of in 10 years. If I hadn't heard that song, would that memory be lost in the cosmos of my brain forever? Or would it still stay there in some subunit of my brain? Like, where is that?
Glycogen reserves, lower overall energy demands, and a greater ability to rely on anaerobic metabolism when oxygen is no longer available. Skin cells, for example, can survive for several hours after death. And believe it or not, some cells in the body can remain metabolically active for days. In fact, studies have shown that gene activity in certain cells, such as certain white blood cells and muscle satellite cells, can still be detected up to about 96 hours after death. But just like the neurons, these cells eventually reach a point where they can no longer generate enough ATP to maintain normal function. Ion pumps begin to fail, calcium floods into the cell, destructive enzymes are released, and the cell essentially begins to digest itself from the inside, a process known as autolysis. During this dying process, there are also physical signs that medical providers look for. The skin may become pale or take on a bluish tint, especially in the extremities due to the lack of oxygenated blood, and this is called cyanosis. Breathing patterns may also change dramatically, and in some cases, providers observe a pattern called Cheyne-Stokes respirations, where breathing becomes irregular, with periods of...
Dude, it's like the death gurgle is what they call it. I heard it before, bro. It's fucking scary. Where, like, when somebody's on hospice and they're dying, they start breathing. It's not like, it's like sleep apnea, but I don't know. It's like even more prolonged. Like, yeah, it's like the death rattle. And when they inhale, it kind of sounds like there's fluid, and they only breathe like 3 times a minute. Like right now, you're probably breathing like constantly. You're just like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. But when you're dying, you slowly breathe less and less to where like you literally might go like That's what it sounds like. And then you won't breathe for 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes. And so it's like, if you're somebody that's watching somebody on hospice, you're supposed to wait like a long time, and then you call somebody to come proclaim them as dead, because like you might actually think somebody's dead because they're not breathing, but they're still alive.
Rapid breathing followed by periods of no breathing at all. Body temperature begins to drop, though interestingly,
now I'm breathing manually. Okay, sorry.
In some cases, there can be a brief spike in temperature shortly before death. The pupils of the eyes become fixed and dilated because the muscles controlling them are no longer receiving signals from the brain. And in many cases, there's a release of urine and stool as the sphincter muscles relax. Not the most distinguished aspect of death, but it's the reality of the physiological process. Now, earlier I mentioned that phosphocreatine can help buffer ATP supply when a neuron is starved for oxygen during the process of dying. And we do know that creatine supplementation can increase your stores of phosphocreatine. Now, I'm not suggesting that we supplement with creatine to possibly increase neuronal activity for a few more seconds during the dying process, because there are plenty of other reasons and benefits to supplement with creatine while you're still alive. And that's why I want to take a second to say thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Create. These guys created the first creatine monohydrate. What happened?
Oh my God, are those fucking creatine gummies? Dude, I hate those. I don't think that's that brand. I hate those creatine gummies that people promote on TikTok Live, and they're like, and they're eating the whole block. I'm like, yo, you're gonna have kidney stones. Like, you're gonna go into like kidney failure if you eat them like that. Like, you're supposed to eat like 2 for a serving, and they're just like munching on them like they're gushers. Yeah.
Happens after we die. Okay, so let's say someone has been declared dead. The heart has stopped, the person is no longer breathing, and there's no brain activity. What happens to the body in the hours immediately following death? Well, first up is something called...
Yo, should I hop back on creatine, bro? Fuck. Now I really want to get into lifting more, bro.
Algor mortis, which is just a fancy Latin term for the
You're not right now. I haven't been on creatine in 2 years.
Cooling of the body. Your body normally maintains a temperature of around...
While my grandma was dying in her home, I went over to her and sat beside her. I often went into shock because she was breathing so irregularly, sometimes once a minute. That's what I'm saying. I can't understand how your body slows down so much, because it's trying to conserve energy, but it's also like literally like your organs are actively dying. CL, thank you for the sub, and I'm sorry for your loss as well, man. Ajax and Adrian for the sub. Yabo, thank you for the 3. Kitty, thank you for the 3. Quan, Ajax for the sub. Andrew Ryan for the sub. Cloak, thank you for the 3. Tate R for the sub. Zombie, thank you for the 3. Part of my dad's brain were dead for a while before he died, and he started living in the past, mentioning people he had never had before. It's crazy how the brain works when you're close to death or declining. Guzzler for the sub. Wish for the sub. Bell, thank you for the sub. I'm sorry for your loss as well. Arrow, thank you for the 3. Thinking about buying gamer subs with flavors, would you recommend? For the tub, Cases is really good. But I haven't tried many of the tubs. I've drank a lot of the RTDs. Benji and Sparto, thank you for the sub. Spider and IH, thank you for the sub. Best bang for your buck, though, is the tubs. Sep and Taxic, thank you for the sub. Post and IH, thank you for the sub. Code BART. Kois for the sub. Lock in.
98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius due to ongoing metabolic processes. But once these processes stop, your body begins to equilibrate with the ambient temperature around it. Early on, the body is estimated to cool at roughly 1 to 1.5 degrees Fahrenheit per hour, though this rate is not constant and can vary widely based on factors like the person's body composition, what they're wearing, air movement, and the surrounding environmental temperature. This is actually one of the methods forensic scientists use to help estimate time of death, but it's considered an approximate tool rather than a precise measurement because of all of these variables. And next is liver mortis, also called lividity. Remember, your heart is no longer pumping blood through your vessels, so gravity takes over and blood begins to pool in the lowest parts of the body. If someone dies lying on their back, you'll see a purple to reddish discoloration on the back of the body, the buttocks, and the backs of the legs, where the blood is starting to settle. This process typically begins within about 20 minutes to a few hours after death and gradually becomes fixed over time.
See, bro, this is like more and more where I'm like, yo, why do they gotta drain my ass, bro? Just throw me in the woods. Throw me in the woods. Like my Korean philosophy professor said, let him eat me.
Often by about 8 to 12 hours.
Feed the animals of the wilderness.
Depending on conditions. Fixed means that if you press on the skin, the discoloration won't blanch, and it will no longer shift to a new location if the body is repositioned.
Oh, so there's no, like, if you go like this, it wouldn't, like, refill. It'll just stay the same. Yeah, you're poking a dead body.
This phenomenon is also used in forensic investigations.
What's uncanny, if you've never been to a wake or an open casket funeral, is every person you've ever touched is warm. Even if they're cold, it's like, oh, it's because my hands are cold. Like, if you touch, like, somebody's forearm, you're like, oh, they're warm. When you touch a dead body, it's room temp. And it's like, it feels, not like a mannequin, but it feels off. Like, really off. And obviously, you would think that, but you don't recognize it until you're actually like, oh, and you touch the hand of a dead person. It's like, yeah, they feel really dead, even if they make them look alive.
Because if a body shows lividity in areas that don't match how the body was found, it suggests that the body was moved after death. Then we have probably the most well-known postmortem change, rigor mortis, the stiffening of the body. This happens because of what's going on at the cellular level inside the muscles. Remember how the cells lose their ability to produce ATP after death? Well, ATP is actually required for muscle relaxation, not just for contraction. When a muscle contracts, little protein filaments called actin and myosin bind together.
Wait, so when you die, you could tighten up like that? Like, just naturally?
To unbind them and relax the muscle, you need ATP. But after death, there's no ATP being produced. So initially, for the first few hours...
I'm not making this whole conversation, but isn't that why some people tried to say that when Charlie Kirk got assassinated, he was just dead immediately, and not like when they were saying like, oh, we might be able to save him, because he immediately went into like this fixated state.
Hours after death, muscles are actually relaxed because there's still some residual ATP present.
That was a reflex.
This phase is actually called primary flaccidity, but as that ATP gets...
Rigor mortis takes hours. Then what the hell happened with him?
Used up, the actin and myosin filaments become locked together, and the muscles become rigid.
Hands folded is due to brain damage. Oh. Oh, yeah, because people in X Games do that, right? Like, when you see a guy go for a skate trick and he, like, falls on his head, it's showing severe brain damage, because they'll go, like, their arms will go, like, straight up. Or not straight up, like, in, rather.
Rigor mortis typically begins in the smaller muscles of the face.
Oh my god, bro. That is a naked man, dude. Thank fuck they blurred that shit.
Maximum rigidity at about 12 to 24 hours after death, depending on conditions. Then, interestingly, rigor mortis reverses. After roughly 24 to 48 hours, ongoing autolysis and bacterial decomposition causes muscle proteins, including actin and myosin, to break down, which causes the protein bonds to dissolve and the muscles begin to relax. This phase is referred to as secondary flaccidity. And there are obviously...
I don't want to say I don't give a fuck about any of this, but I don't care about any of this shit outside of what I'm consciously going to see. Okay, when I'm dead, my body will turn purple and I'm going to shit myself. Awesome. I'm dead. Why do I need to know that? Right? Like, I'm going to put... Okay, I'm dead. I poop my pants and fucking piss myself. And my blood starts, you know, fucking pooling at wherever gravity. If I die standing up, it's going to pull at my feet. If I die laying down, it's going to pull at my fucking back. Awesome. Right? I'm dead. I don't care. I'm dead. I don't care because I don't exist. Right? So whatever happens to my meat sack is, you know, up to the fishes. You know, they can fucking eat me for all I care.
Other changes.
Oh, how embarrassing. I pooped myself. I have bigger problems. I'm dead. I have bigger problems. I'm dead now, right? Actually, I have no problems anymore because I can't have a problem.
Is happening as well. The corneas of the eyes become cloudy within a couple of hours after death because the...
Yo, that's what dead fish look like.
Cells that normally pump fluid out of the cornea stop functioning, leading to dehydration and swelling. And if the eyes are open, this clouding can happen even faster due to evaporation. The skin also begins to take on a marbled appearance, known as marbling, which occurs as red blood cells break down and bacteria spread along the superficial blood vessels during early decomposition, creating a blanching,
oh my God,
purplish pattern beneath the skin. And even though...
How do they fix that? If you're like a mortician, do they drain all that out? Like, how are they fixing your skin? You know, makeup? Well, and they put you in clothes. Normally at a funeral, you only really see the face and the hands. Maybe the forearms. Everything else is covered up because they close the top part of it. Well, no, actually, they do have that open, but you're wearing shoes and everything.
It may not be obvious.
Dressing a dead body must be really weird.
Obvious on the outside, decomposition is already beginning at the cellular level within minutes of death, as cells undergo autolysis and start to break down from the inside. The more dramatic, visible signs of decomposition...
So they'll see your penis. Yes, they'll see your penis, unless you get cremated. Actually, even then, they're probably stripping you naked before they put you in the cremation. So, yes. Bro said bet.
Position, however...
Like you're excited. I don't want that. Why do you care? Why do you care? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, they're going to see your dick when you're dead. That's bro, they're going to see your dick when you're dead. Okay, awesome, right? Who cares?
Take longer to develop. But also, there's this bacteria.
Because it's small. Yo, ideally, you're going to be like 85. Yo, at that point, they're not really caring, right? You're not even caring at that point.
That lives inside you, especially in your gut, like in the intestines. And this bacteria will start to break down tissues and produce gases as a byproduct. This process, known as putrefaction, sets the stage for bloating and other visible changes that typically develop over the next 1 to several days. Again, depending on environmental factors.
They won't know I'm a grower. You leave a note, you're like, yo, please don't judge.
But now, let's shift gears and talk about something that's absolutely fascinating. And frankly, still pretty mysterious from a scientific standpoint. Near-death experiences, or NDEs. Near-death experiences,
we had to watch when I was a senior in college. Actually, I was a junior. I took senior sem my junior year. It was really weird because they only offered it every 2 years, and I had to take a junior year because then if I didn't, I would have had to be a 5th year. Anyways, junior year, I'm taking senior sem. We had to watch this documentary, one class about NDEs. And then also we watched a documentary about people, side note, I'll get back to the NDEs. We watched a documentary about people that were able to recall a previous life that they had. This was really not unrefutable, unexplainable from me. And I don't want to say it made me kind of lean towards like some level of spiritualism, but it was weird. Where there were instances, you could look them up, where like a 5-year-old would be like, my name was blank and blank, and I died in a plane crash in, Vietnam or Japan. And he would recall like very specific things that would be feedable to him, and they would fact check this shit and it would show up. And as they aged, they would forget it, and they wouldn't even be able to recall it themselves. Like, they interviewed this one, 15-year-old kid, and they were like, do you remember any of this? And he was like, no. But when he was, 5 years old, he used to, avidly talk about, this past life he had lived. Part of me is like, it's fake. But I don't really know about that. NDEs are weird because, near-death experiences, people try to use as a means to prove their religion. The problem is NDEs have proved every religion and every single thing, right? NDEs have proved Christianity, Islam, atheism, Buddhism, Hinduism, everything, because NDEs are near-death experiences. You're not dead, right? So you can't use an NDE as proof for anything. Christianity's true, though. I'm not saying Christianity's not true. I'm not saying any religion's not true. I'm saying NDEs aren't usable for any belief set, atheism or not. Right? I'm not going to use an NDE to be like, well, some guy said he saw nothing. Because a near-death experience, you're not actually dead. Your heart just stopped, and your brain is, tripping out.
are often life-changing, profound psychological events that occur when someone is close to death or in situations where death seems imminent. These can occur during cardiac arrest, severe trauma, under anesthesia, or even in situations where someone thinks they're about to die but are not actually in any physical danger. And here's the thing that makes NDEs so interesting. While they are not identical, many near-death experiences share many recurring themes across different cultures, ages, and backgrounds. People from completely different parts of the world, different religions, and different time periods often describe experiences with overlapping features. And even though the exact details can vary, it's this pattern of shared themes that has researchers so intrigued. Research by Dr. Bruce Grayson and others has identified several core features of near-death experiences. Not everyone experiences all of these features, but one of the most frequently reported features is an out-of-body experience. People describe a sensation of separating from their physical body and viewing it from an outside perspective, often from above. Some people report perceptions that later appear to match specific events that occurred during their resuscitation.
Am I insane? I feel like there was an experiment they tried to do where they held like a... Oh my god, maybe this is literally just like fiction. I feel like there was an experiment where somebody with an NDE, like every time there was like somebody that was dying, they would have like a number or something that was like pointed towards the ceiling that they couldn't see, but they would ask you if you knew the number. Yeah, they would put like a post-it note above you in some way. NDE experiment above you. I don't even know what I would look up to find this. This is like, the way that I'm describing this is fucking... It was like a note on a table. I don't know. It was the Milgram experiment. Let me look that up. It's not the Milgram experiment. The Milgram experiment was the not obesity. Obeying experiment.
And as you can imagine, the timing and mechanisms behind what's causing these perceptions remains an area of active scientific debate. Dr. Sam Perina's AWARE study found that about 40% of cardiac arrest...
I'm on 5 grams of mushrooms right now. You look like an apple. What type of apple? Tell me I'm a Honeycrisp. I hope I'm not a Granny Smith. Or like a Macintosh. That would be the worst.
Survivors who were successfully resuscitated reported some form of recalled experience during their cardiac arrest.
40% of cardiac arrest survivors who were successfully resuscitated reported some recalled experience during cardiac arrest. Yeah, because they're still somewhat conscious.
Although many of these experiences were fragmented or nonspecific, and only a small number involved structured awareness. It's also important to note that clinically dead, in this context, refers to the absence of a detectable pulse, not necessarily confirmed absence of all brain activity. Around 30% of people who have NDEs also report moving through some kind of tunnel or dark space. This is often described as moving toward a light, sometimes rapidly.
And guess what that light is? When you're squeezing out of the hole when you're born. That's proof for reincarnation there, brother. What's the light? You're in the fucking womb. Your consciousness is being inserted into another person.
And sometimes with
I'm not saying I believe in reincarnation, but that does make sense.
The sensation of flying. The light is often described as brilliant, warm, loving, and unlike any earthly light. And many people describe it
okay, maybe it's not.
As having
maybe it's not the hospital lights.
Presence or personality. Plus, in positive NDEs, about 80% of people report an overwhelming sense of peace, contentment, and unconditional love, with many saying they didn't want to return to their physical body. But there are a small percentage of NDEs that can be distressing instead of positive. But many people also report encountering other beings, often deceased loved ones, and the identities of these beings frequently aligns with a person's cultural and religious background. Some people experience a rapid replay of significant life events, often from multiple perspectives, and some describe reaching a boundary that they understand they cannot cross if they want to return back to life. So what is actually happening during these experiences? Well, as we've learned today, we know the brain doesn't instantly shut down. We know brain activity can briefly persist, and in rare cases show transient surges after cardiac arrest, though this activity typically declines rapidly. We know certain neurochemicals are released, and much of this could possibly explain what is happening during near-death experiences. But we don't know how to fully explain detailed, coherent experiences or precisely when they occur, especially during periods when brain activity is expected to be severely impaired. We don't know how some people report perceptions that later appear accurate during periods of presumed unconsciousness, particularly given the limitations of EEG and other monitoring methods.
Oh, but you just can't take any of that shit for fucking fact is the problem. Like, I want to be like, oh, wow, the overwhelming sense of love and there being a better thing after. I'd be like, oh, that's sick. But it's like, they're not dead.
And we don't know why these...
Because anybody that... And nobody's actually died and come back. Like, you could say you've been like, oh, declared dead, but that's because your heart stopped. You could say like, oh, I died. I died and came back.
Experiences show recurring themes across many cultures and time periods. So yes, physiologically, we do know quite a bit about what happens as a person dies. The heart stops, consciousness fades within seconds, brain cells begin dying within minutes, and the body...
Jesus did. Chat. You know, I'm saying like you're on the hospital bed and you're declared brain dead and then come back. I'm not talking about the crucifixion of Jesus. I'm saying the experience of somebody, you know what I mean.
The body undergoes predictable changes over the following hours. But what happens to consciousness, to that sense of you, remains a very interesting question. And whether near-death experiences represent consciousness beyond the brain and this life, or whether they reflect the brain's final neurological activity, these experiences continue to challenge what we think we know about what happens after we die. And maybe that's okay. Maybe some questions are meant to keep us wondering, or at least keep us wondering until that moment when each of us finds out for ourselves.
Yep, that's true. Unless you get hit by a car. Or die in your sleep. Or get shot. Or something like that. Like there's a few things where it's like, you know, that's not a guarantee. But that was a good video. Got a little boring in the middle when he was talking about the blood pooling shit. I was like, nah, I'm not really tapped into that. But, yeah, Chad, I got to call that there. Me6, thank you for the 5K biddies. High on Life update's kind of big. I know you're playing it tomorrow. What do you mean High on Life has an update? It's kind of big. What update? Vamp, thank you for the 3. How many tattoos do you have? I don't know. What are you they if you feel comfortable talking about them? I have to leave. I have a meeting, chat. You can ask me about them tomorrow. Lol, thank you for the 5. You got me through the work, brother. Thank you. I'm glad I'm able to help. Clicks and Cat for the sub. F3 and Devoke. Thank you for the sub. Present for the sub. I got a dip, chat. I'm going to be live tomorrow at 1:30 or 2 EST. We're doing High on Life 2. Probably for the whole stream. Sunday, I'm going to be live at 1:32. We're doing Reacts. Monday, I'm probably going to be live at like around 3:34. We're going to do the S&P and then shit with Adapt. Tuesday, I'm not live. Wednesday is the AHA charity stream. Thursday, I'm not live. Friday's either finishing High on Life 2 or Resident Evil Requiem. We're starting. Saturday is going to be Reacts and random games. Next Sunday, Reacts. Next Monday, we're starting Resident Evil Requiem. We're continuing it, and we'll go from there. Next charity stream, F Cancer, outside of AHA next week, and we'll go from there as well. Go watch the YouTube videos. Already posted them earlier today. Posted early today. And we're calling it there. Who do we want to fucking raid? I got a dip. I got a dip. I got a dip. Who do we want to raid? I'm looking. I don't know. We're raiding Wolves. He just started stream. Appreciate y'all. Daza, thank you for the sub. Zusi for the sub. W Zusi. Love you, brother. I got a dip. I will catch y'all later. We're going to raid in 5,